All right. Welcome, everybody, to the latest and greatest episode of the Xbox 2 podcast, episode number 388, on this rainy November 21st, a week before Thanksgiving and Black Friday. I'm your host, Randall Thor19, the man with the million. And with me, as always, we have Jez Corden. And for those that don't know,
Hello.
the reason we're an hour late is because Jez is a sick boy
Yes, I
and
am.
was at the doctor's.
I was at the doctor's. I went to out of hours clinic, which is like when there's no appointments left during the day. They've got like a late doctor in the evening for people who are working and shit. So went there. So I apologize. The coughing and sneezing and slime that's gonna happen during the show.
That's why
But
I
I
said
didn't want to.
we should have waited till Monday, but then you said you're just always sick, so doesn't matter
Yeah,
what day we wait till, I suppose.
there was no point waiting. So let's just rock and roll with the peeps, the party peeps.
Yep.
The Xbox 2
I would
of the
ask you how
universe.
your week is going, but I can tell how it's going because you don't feel good.
Yeah, it's rough times in Jazzland, bro. Rough
Mm,
times. But I'm better now because we're here with the people,
right?
and you know that's a good thing, right? It's always a good thing.
It's one of the best things.
It's the best thing in the universe, bro.
Indeed. Plus, Silent Hill 2 came to Xbox. Hooray!
Yeah, it did. Did you? Is that the footage we're running?
Yes. Well, yes. It's very
Cool,
apropos.
cool.
Came out
Apropos, yeah.
came out today or last night. I mean, I guess it came out yesterday, depending on where you were located. It was like
Yeah,
11 p.m. midnight. Uh,
bro. This whole Silent Hill thing was so strange. So like, I don't know if any of you guys saw, right, but during the week, I was like, people were asking me about Silent Hill 2 remake being at the partner preview event, and I'd heard that it wasn't going to be there. So like, I was tweeting out stuff like, I haven't heard that Silent Hill's actually at this event, which I thought was so strange because it just made total and complete sense. The only information we had to go off was True Achievements report, right? And True Achievements in their report, they said that they had metadata that said it was coming out November 21st. And I'm sitting there like, but man, my sources are telling me it's not in the partner preview event. So what the hell's going on? So I was worrying that True Achievements got trolled or something, or like made a mistake or something like that, or my sources have made a mistake. And so I was trying to work out what was going on. And then I spoke to True Achievements, the writers there, and they sent me a link to the store page that they had. And it was like, oh shit, this is fully legit. So then I'm just sitting there like, okay, well, my sources must be wrong then, and that it is there. Lo and behold, it wasn't there. So then it's like, why isn't it there? And then I saw like Clobril and people tweeting out like the game is now available to buy in Australia and New Zealand. So you know, he had a bunch of people emigrating to New Zealand briefly, or New Zealand's population having a little spike up there. And yeah, it was available not only with Xbox Play Anywhere, not only 50% off, but should be pretty much available globally now. So, yeah, I mean, I'm glad it's there, but it's so strange that it was done with such little fanfare. If you know that like you've got this big partner game that's launching literally after your event with Xbox Play Anywhere in your Xbox Play Anywhere show, why wasn't it in the show? That just seems so random to me. But
mm-hmm.
you know, at least we got it right. And I was playing it earlier. It runs fantastically on the Xbox Series X. Doesn't run so good on the Xbox Ally X. The Xbox Ally X really struggles with NVIDIA Lumen. No, Unreal Engine Lumen, sorry. And there's a lot of that popping off in Silent Hill 2. I think all the lighting requires ray tracing. So like, yeah, the Xbox Ally X can't handle it that well. But you can, if you're willing to suffer 720p, 30 frames, you can run it. But you can also just play it remote play, and that's a far better experience. to be honest, I wouldn't want to play an atmospheric game like that on a small screen anyway. That's in my mind, that's a TV game. And yeah, glad to see it. It's fantastic, man. It's so good.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what. I honestly don't know what Konami's thinking. They just like I think they released a tweet being like it's available. There's no real press releases, no nothing. Just here the game's available. Like you mentioned, you have an Xbox partner preview where people are watching, and it's like okay, well why not just have it there? There's like a couple scenarios that come to mind. One being maybe the partner preview was supposed to be earlier in the year, meaning like October-ish, or maybe they would still be under contractual obligations to PlayStation, so they built the show thinking that Silent Hill 2 couldn't be there because it would be under contract of a console exclusive to PlayStation at the time, and then like the show got delayed because I do think it's pretty weird to have a show for a partner preview late in November. When they've done these, they've done them in October. I mean, it's basically like almost the end of November, and you got the Game Awards coming up. So I remember when you told me that you heard there was a partner preview coming in late November. I was like, man, it's quite a late time to do that in the year. Normally they do them in October because it's like you still have.
You didn't believe me?
No, I believed you. I'm just saying. I thought.
You didn't believe me?
No, I didn't say. No, I 100% believed you. I just thought it was an odd thing, which makes me think maybe it was supposed to be earlier in the year, like early October, which means Silent Hill 2 couldn't have been there. But then people have suggested that maybe it's still they can't do certain things because of like Sony's contracts or whatever. I don't know if there's any truth to that or not. Maybe there is. We don't know what's in those contracts. But it is very weird to release this high-profile game that did extremely well when it came out last year. Everybody was waiting for it to come to Xbox because it was tagged as a console exclusive for a year. I actually thought it would come early next year because I was like, well, Silent Hill F came out in September. Like, it didn't really seem like, oh, well, we don't really need another Silent Hill game so soon. I thought it was going to come like early next year, but here it is November. And then supposedly there's a new Silent Hill game coming out in like March of next year, like Silent Hill Townfall. We know that Bloober's remaking Silent Hill 1. I think Konami even said today that they got more Silent Hill games coming than just Townfall and, the remake one. So like out of nowhere, like Silent Hill games are just exploding onto the scene after basically being non-existent for years. And the great thing about it is they've been great. Silent Hill 2 remake is amazing. And if anybody who is interested in playing it, I highly recommend it. Plus, it's 50% off. That's the other thing. It launched and it's like $35. It's not even $70. It's Death Stranding 2 did the same thing when it came to Xbox. You remember? Out of nowhere, Death Stranding 2 shows up and it's like 50% off. So it was like $30 or whatever it was. And here's Silent Hill 2 coming to Xbox, and it's right out of the gate 50% off. I wonder if that's just a good way to people to just be like, I'm buying it, because when is it really ever going to be cheaper than $30 for a $70 game? But it might take a while. Yeah, man, like I bought it again. Silent Hill 2 is one of my favorite games. Not even just this version of it, but overall, like going back to the PlayStation version of it. And so like when it showed up at the store, I immediately bought it. I'm like, I think I might play through this again. I like it that much. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what these companies think sometimes. You would think that there's some contractual thing holding them back, because why wouldn't you put in a show that people are watching, especially if it was coming out that night, that day?
Yeah.
But whatever. Silent Hill 2 is on Xbox. If you've been waiting for it, make sure to pick it up and buy it and enjoy it, because it is truly fantastic game.
It's so good, man. It's so good. I'm so impressed with, like, even the Medium, right? The Medium had really great environmental art. and like, like the world design and stuff like that. But this is like, it's the forest and the town, so good, so detailed. I'm so happy for Bloober, man. Proved everyone wrong, including myself.
And me,
Fantastic.
yeah. Yep. Now it's like I'm really looking forward to Silent Hill 1, which is going to be, what's that going to look like, right? Because you figure they're going to do Silent Hill 1, and then you might as well do Silent Hill 3 if you really want to do them all. Konami does also seem to be remaking their stuff. They started with Metal Gear Solid Delta, which is a remake of 3. Are they going to then go and do a remake of Metal Gear Solid 1? And then end up with a remake of Metal Gear Solid 2? Is that sort of being the plan? I mean, wasn't there a report? I think we talked about it last week about how people spend twice as much on remakes versus remasters, or some stat. And, we know that building new games is expensive, and there's always the risk of, do people care? But when you take a game that has a big following already, and you tune up the graphics, so to speak, you end up with a situation where, like, hey, this game, Silent Hill 2, must be pretty successful. And we know the Resident Evil remakes are pretty successful. They're remaking everything under existence. And what's the next 2 remakes from Capcom we're supposedly getting? It's Code Veronica and Zero, right? I never thought that they would bother remaking Code Veronica or Zero. I mean, honestly, I never thought they'd remake the original games anyways. But, like, once they did Resident Evil 2, and it was as successful as it was, which I don't know if you saw in their financial report, but I think Resident Evil 2 is their highest-selling game. The Resident Evil 2 remake is their highest-selling game, best-selling game of the Resident Evil franchise. I was like, well, if it's going to do that, then they're going to do the other games. I just never thought it would be so popular, where, like, you're doing Code Veronica and Zero, Like, who's asking for a remake of Resident Evil 0?
Bro.
Nobody.
No, I'll tell you who's asking for it. Me. I'm asking for it.
Yeah.
You know why?
Because you never played it? Yeah.
I did. I never finished it because I was like, what the fuck is this shit, man? I've got to, like, switch characters, and there was all these weird, like, puzzles where you have to switch characters, and I was just like, this hurts my brain, bro. Mm-hmm. So maybe the new version will dumb it down for people like me. But I just want all the Resident Evil, man. Just the more the merrier, kind of, is my... Do you think they should remake Resident Evil 5, though?
I mean, I thought they was heading that way based on the ending of Resident Evil 4. I thought, like, well, they're going to do 5. I mean, by the time they get Resident Evil Requiem out, and then the 2 remakes after that, you're probably, how long... It would basically be... What? You'd probably be almost to the 2030s, because remake's 2026. I think Code Veronica is supposed to be 2027, and who knows when Zero is, so you're getting close to 2030s. At that point, yeah, I mean, Resident Evil 5 was what, 2010, 2009? Right around there? Yeah. Why not remake it? I guess. I mean, you're remaking them all.
So bland.
The one I would question would be Resident Evil 6, because that's not a good game there. I mean, you'd have to basically just make a new game.
5 isn't either, man.
No, 5's good. I
didn't like 5. I think if they're gonna do 5, they need to change it up a bit and improve it. I think it was way too linear, man. It was so linear.
Sure.
And, like, I think people want something more from Resident Evil. I don't know. But Wookie 808 in chat says remake Resident Evil 1 again. So
yeah.
I think they should do that too.
I've been thinking, like, why not do that? Why not remake the remake? Why not?
The remake of the remake is old. The original remake is old now. So I think you could get away with doing a remake of the remake.
Mm-hmm.
A remake? No,
remake,
2 remakes. Remake. Yeah.
But anyways,
you know what I mean.
I am probably gonna play through Silent Hill 2 again, because I love that game so much. Plus, I want to get the achievements for it. I have the trophies for it. It's like I played through it when it came out last year, but I wouldn't mind playing through it again. But I'm currently addicted to something, which we'll talk a little bit later. But let's do some housekeeping really quickly, Jez. Let's talk about our sponsor that you love oh so
Let's
much
do.
for this episode. Because once again, Xbox 2 is sponsored by Surfshark.
Surfshark.
Yep.
Heads up, internet adventurers. Man, this is hard when I'm ill.
Is it hard? Is it hard on your throat? Like what is it?
It's harder, yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
Heads up, internet adventurers. Black Friday and Cyber Monday are coming in hot. And Surfshark is throwing down deals like a feeding frenzy. From October 20th to December 1st, that's right now, you can snag a 2-year Surfshark VPN and adblock plan for just $1.99 a month. Plus 3 extra months tossed in like a cherry on top. Or a tuna fish, if you're a shark, I guess. That's full VPN protection and ad blocking for less than the price of a sad vending machine sandwich. Not that sharks eat from vending machines, but you get the point. But wait, if you want the full privacy buffet, there's a lot of food analogies in this. If you want the full privacy buffet, Surfshark 1 is where it's at. You get VPN, antivirus, private search, real-time alert, and alternative ID protection, all for just $2.19 a month. For 2 years, with 3 months to sweeten the deal. And for privacy maximalists out there, Surfshark 1 Plus adds Incogni, their data removal tool that hunts down your personal info across the web, tells data brokers to back off. That's a whole Surfshark arsenal for just $4.19 a month, plus 3 extra months on top. Now here's the tech flex. Surfshark runs on log-free RAM-only servers, meaning your data vanishes with every reboot. We're going to be talking about RAM in a bit, I think. No logs, no leftovers, and their encryption independently audited and industry-leading. You're basically surfing the web in a digital invisibility cloak. So if you want to lock down your online life and score a killer deal, hit up surfshark.net/XB2 before December 1st. That's surfshark.net/XB2. Go get it. Surfshark. Secure your connection, block the noise, and own your digital life. Rah, rah, rah. Yeah, so Surfshark is awesome. They've been partnering with us for a long time now. We really love them. Their services are absolutely fantastic. I use them every day. You install it on a web browser, install it on your router, install it straight on your computer, on your phone, unlimited devices, and you can mask your connection to any location where they have servers, and they have servers in a huge amount of locations. So yeah, definitely check that deal out. It's only $1.99 a month plus 3 extra months.
That's pretty good
with our deal. Yeah, and it supports the show and supports your internet privacy.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah, check them out.
And we also have the wonderful members of our Patreon at patreon.com/XB2, which the question and answer thread is up for those that want to ask us a question at the end of the show. We will get to that as always. We got the shout outs here for the Xbox 2 MVPs. We got O9C Mine, Adam Bartolo, Army Dude 52C, Asa T. N. Madison, Battered Haddock, Briggs Country, Bright Tundra 1, Silas, Discarded Caboose, DZ Huffin, Fantasticals, Foreign Object, Glenn, Governor Grimm, iMike Zero, Inner Machine, James Moore, James Wiseau, Justin Duel, Katriox, Laserwolf, Pat Rock, PB Broking, RS Donk, Scarcely Relevant, Sean Kramer, Shrapnel, Trickster for Trey, Wagerman, and Wolfgang KPZ. Thank you guys so much for your continued support of the XB2, me and Jez. So, yeah.
Wait, why did I just roll off of Patreon?
Why not? Why not do that for Patreon?
Why not? Right. Yeah, you guys rock. Thanks for all the support, guys.
Yes. So, let's see. What do you want to talk about, Jez? Anything off the top of your head that is something that you wanted to talk about to begin with? How about the Xbox full screen experience coming to handhelds and PC today? Is this true? Is this a thing?
Yeah. So, man, but you need to shout out Face 23 PKM1 right now.
Yeah. Hold on 1 sec. What is Face doing up in here? Face with the $200 super chat. You didn't.
Damn.
Always supporting the show. Thank you very much, Face. I guess it's time to play Ghost of Yotai. Because I think he said he wanted me to play Ghost of Yotai. So I'll just take this super chat and buy Ghost of Yotai with it. He says, Jez, Battlefield 6 is the best-selling game of 2025. Well, I guess I know what we're talking about next. beating Black Ops 7. That's including with Black Ops 7 pre-orders since July and August, with GTA 6 coming next year and COD selling less than the years prior. Will Microsoft remove COD from Game Pass Ultimate, raise Game Pass prices again, or try to switch to ports as soon as possible? It's an interesting question, Jez, because we had talked about this in the past. I think I had said there's a good chance that Call of Duty is not the best-selling game of the year, that Battlefield 6 might take that crown. And as of right now, Battlefield 6 is number one. They also reported that Battlefield 6 has the highest single-month dollar sales of any game in the past 3 years.
That's crazy.
Now, which means that that's more than
deserves it, bro.
Battlefield Black Ops 6. So I would imagine maybe the only one it didn't beat of last 3 years, so that's going back. So maybe Hogwarts Legacy back in 2022.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Probably about it. So Battlefield 6, absolutely huge. The Battlefield fan of me is ecstatic because I've always believed Battlefield could beat COD. It's just that I'm not really... I know I say this, and it'll get disproven a little bit later, but like multiplayer Rand probably doesn't really exist that much anymore. But then I say this as someone who's like thoroughly addicted to Arc Raider, so maybe it just depends on the multiplayer game. But there were times back during the 360 generation with Battlefield Bad Company 1 and Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 that I thought, why isn't this game bigger? Why is Call of Duty outselling this? Battlefield is the way. And it never really translated, and then it sort of fell off. But now it's back. Vince Zampella put in charge. Giving players what they wanted when Call of Duty was turning players away with their skins and everything. So I think we also had some Christopher Dring reporting in let me get this because I think I bookmarked it. That Call of Duty Black Ops 7's launch weekend sales were 50% lower compared to Black Ops 6 in Europe across physical and digital sales. And that Black Ops 7 sales were also 63% lower than Battlefield 6 in Europe. So that doesn't include the States, which is obviously, I would imagine, probably the number one area for Call of Duty. But still, those aren't really good numbers for COD, especially when it says, like, hey, it's 60% lower than Battlefield's numbers.
Well, it's kind of weird, isn't it?
Okay.
Because I'm like you. I'm always been a Battlefield guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Battlefield 1 is probably my favorite shooter of all time. I absolutely adore Battlefield 1. And Battlefield 6 is also absolutely incredible.
Right.
And I've been on this sort of Call of Duty haterade
You
for
sure?
a long time.
I remember your tweets. You were coming at COD hard. So
yeah, I was like,
you're to blame for this.
Yeah, probably. I was super viral over the summer with like a bunch just regular Jez tweets clowning on the skins and stuff because I really hated the Fortnitification of Battlefield, and that I've discovered I was not alone in this. A lot of people did not like the Fortnitification of Battlefield, although Call of Duty. Sorry, there's plenty of people who are like pushing back though, and they're like, "I know, I want the Family Guy skins and the Beavis and Butthead skins," and there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. But my argument was just like, if that's what Call of Duty is now, then I'm out. It's not, the game's not for me, and there's nothing wrong with that. And then Battlefield must have seen that discourse and was like, you know what, we're gonna go in the complete opposite direction here and offer the people, the disgruntled fans of Call of Duty, we're gonna give them what they're asking for essentially, which is a gritty, down to earth, quote unquote, shooter that sort of I don't know, riffs on what people expected from Call of Duty, I guess. Back in the day, from like the Call of Duty Modern Warfare era and stuff like that. But it seemed to work really, really well for them. And you had all this discourse and people saying, "Oh, Battlefield's gonna go back to basics" and all this kind of stuff. Meanwhile, you had Black Ops 7 doubling down on sci-fi and all that kind of thing, right? So the discourse certainly hasn't helped. However, there is this sort of weird universe that Call of Duty finds itself in now with Game Pass. Because the whole point of putting Call of Duty into Game Pass is to grow Game Pass. You want people to subscribe to Game Pass for Call of Duty. But as we know, that means your sales are going to go down, because if Game Pass is doing what it's supposed to do, which is make people subscribe so they don't have to buy the game, then you would expect Call of Duty sales to go down, wouldn't you, Rand?
Sure.
So, I mean, are we seriously assuming, Rand? No, I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Okay.
I'm not a COD fan. I'm playing devil's advocate. Are we seriously assuming that Microsoft's sitting there thinking we expected Call of Duty sales to go up in addition to Game Pass going up? Are we assuming that's what
I don't know.
they were expecting?
I don't know what they were thinking, but I would imagine.
Do you think that's what they were thinking? Do you think they expected COD sales to go up as well as Game Pass?
I don't think they were expecting COD sales to go up as well as Game Pass to grow up, but I don't think they were expecting a massive decline like this. Right? If we're trying to place ourselves into the executive role over at Microsoft and Activision, when they purchased through this, did they think 2 years after their purchase that, following Call of Duty would be outsold by Battlefield and have their sales, at least in one area of the world for at least 1 week, be down 60%? I don't think they'd think that. But it does, add some question marks about what do you do in the future. And this is where people always talk about the competition between franchises, because without Battlefield, it's just COD. And COD can kind of do whatever it wants to a certain extent, right? If you wanted a military shooter, because Fortnite kind of is it's in a different vector, right? It's that animated, more kids-friendly sort of battle royale thing, where like COD was the military shooter, even though it was, as Jez said, introducing skins of Beavis and Butthead and all that sort of stuff. But now you have a direct competitor with Battlefield, and you just got shown up by Battlefield this year. But not only that, you also have Arc Raiders blowing up. So, Call of Duty is getting kind of assaulted on a lot of sides this year. Now, good thing for Call of Duty is there's no Battlefield next year. There's probably no Arc Raiders 2. So there's going to be no sequels to those games for a while, but they are going to run into Grand Theft Auto 6 next year, which is going to, that's going to be a buzzsaw for them. So I do think seeing this stuff is probably there's going to be some postmortems about what happened, why the player drop off, what did players like from this game, what didn't they like. And I mean, maybe it's too late to change whatever they're doing with Modern Warfare 4 for next year, but definitely, they're going to look at this and be like, what do we have to do to change this? Because, I mean, like Face says in his super chat, do they raise? If it's selling less and less, are they going to have to raise the price of Game Pass? Which they probably raise the price of Game Pass simply because of, and they'll mention like market conditions. Just like every single streamer is raising the price of their plans, and it's all market conditions and inflation and all that stuff. Like I said, when they raised the price to Game Pass to $30, the thing is, everybody knows it's not going to stay at $30 a month for Ultimate. It's going to go up. It's just a matter of how much it's going to go up in the coming years. Nothing's going to stay at that. I mean, they did stay at a low price point for a long time with Game Pass. But at this point in time, they're now in that whole, we're just going to extract as much money as we can from our hardcore most users, our hardcore people. And, do they raise it to get more money out of them? And they go up to $35 next year? Maybe they stay pat or whatever, but I would imagine people at Activision and people at Xbox are probably not happy with this number, Because the one thing you don't want happen, Jez, is for Call of Duty to be
muted.
Oh, you've been talking the whole time and you've been muted?
Yeah. I've been trying. I was like, why the fuck is Rand ignoring me? But I muted myself so I could choke for a bit. But this is the thing, we don't have transparency over over the business model all up, right?
Sure.
Because like I said, they wanted this. They wanted people to play COD through Game Pass.
Sure.
And I don't, obviously this isn't all Game Pass. I think a 50%, you wouldn't expect a 50% drop. I mean, awareness that Call of Duty is in Game Pass will have increased year over year, right? There are more people aware now that you don't have to pay $70 to get the full fat Call of Duty. You can just get it through Game Pass. Oh no, well, there's all these other benefits.
Right.
You know, if I'm a Fortnite Crew subscriber, it's like, oh well, maybe I should cancel my Fortnite Crew with Epic, and then just get, you know, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and get Fortnite Crew on top of it. You know, whatever. You know. So, but I think you can't attribute 50% a 50% sales drop. You can't attribute all of that to Game Pass. I really doubt Game Pass grew that much on the back of this, especially because the Game Pass, as you mentioned, went up in price. So like there's that aspect to contest with as well. So I do think Game Pass probably grew to some degree on the back of this, but I don't think it's enough to account for the 50% sales decline. So a lot of that has to be sentiment. A lot of that has to be sentiment revolving around the discourse over skins, revolving around the discourse over the game becoming Fortnite-ified or Robloxified or whatever you want to call it. The game sort of become a parody of itself, a little bit like Modern Simpsons is. Modern Simpsons is still popular, but it's nowhere like what it was, you know, at its height, right? So I think you're right that there will be some post-mortems, and they'll be like trying to look at like as Call of Duty lost its identity, because clearly like fashion and sentiment is increasingly a governing factor in a universe where opinions are becoming homogenized because of influencers and stuff like that. And more people are just like, you know, less willing to go against the grain, I think, more than ever. And if you've got every single influencer on earth, and I'm not saying the feedback's invalid by any means, but if you've got every influencer on earth saying like COD is dead by Battlefield the Rock Raiders, I mean that's going to have an impact too, especially with certain cohort specific users who are susceptible to that kind of thing. So I think sentiment is definitely an issue, and also just generally losing its identity is obviously a really big issue. So I do think there'll be some very big post-mortems, but it's also like when people talk about like, okay, well, how's this going to affect Game Pass? Does Game Pass's price need to go up as a result of this? If
Or
Game Pass's
do they
price
remove COD from Game Pass?
or do they remove it? Yeah. If Call of Duty is that much of an impact on Game Pass that it constantly has to change the business model, then yeah, well and truly, Game Pass business model is cooked, you know. And already, like the common sense narrative is that the reason for all this stuff has been happening is purely because of Call of Duty not only cannibalizing Game Pass in service fees, but also cannibalizing the retail sales. You know, you're basically disrupting the Call of Duty business model, which is very, very expensive to maintain. You've got like a lot of studios in California, very expensive developers and all that kind of stuff. And you've also got to contest with the sentiment issues and the expensive marketing and all this kind of stuff, right? It's a very expensive operation, and you're introducing Game Pass as a disruptor, and that's like it's disrupting the industry, but it's also disrupting Game Pass and it's disrupting Call of Duty itself potentially. But we don't know. Like I have to sit here and assume that the Microsoft bean counters have hopefully mathed out all these impacts. I would hope, and just realize like, yeah, you laugh. They're being paid a lot of money to do this kind of math, right?
I mean, companies make mistakes, bro.
I mean, it's a pretty big fucking mistake when you spend $80 billion and you don't know how to manage the franchise, isn't it?
Sure.
I think that's a pretty huge mistake that you would think, you know, someone should be accountable for to some degree.
But I'm not sure.
Like a huge risk.
There, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you can plan out the future of the franchise and what it's going to do, but do you plan out a situation or whatever where it's like, hey, the second game under us that we put into Game Pass sees this drastic of a drop off, and then its competitors sees this drastic of an upswing. Is that something you factor into your models? Is that something that you go to the board and be like, actually, here's what we're projecting for the next 5 and 10 years, and you have this huge dip, and it's like, well, what's this? I was like, well, this is going to be a bad year for COD. Now, there's always bad years for COD. There have always been games that have come out from some of the studios that, like Vanguard, didn't sell well. Like, there's always a particular COD that will come out eventually and not sell well, like Infinite Warfare, and then like they changed their thing. Like, people were sick of the future stuff, and then they go back to World War II and it does well, and then people got sick of World War II, so it's back to modern, and it's remake Modern Warfare, which everybody loved, and then, oh my god, it's back. And then Black Ops 6, even though I think there wasn't really that much hatred to Battlefield 6, but we did see like Battlefield 6 in one of the best-selling CODs ever. It's like the best-selling game on PlayStation ever. But there's always... Yeah, like I want to say when they did like the Matt Piscatella posted a chart of the best-selling like PlayStation games or something like that. It was like Call of Duty Black Ops 6 was number 1 or number 2 or whatever it was.
I thought you said Battlefield 6.
No, I was like it was Black Ops 6. My bad.
Black Ops 6. Yeah.
I said that, but it always happens. This is the problem when you do an annual franchise every single year since what 2007, 2006. Right, 2007 was Modern Warfare. I mean, they've had to get out a Call of Duty game come rain or shine, snow, bad weather, no matter what. They have not skipped a year in 17, 18 years. That is a long time to maintain that level, maintain quality levels of what consumers expect, because consumers expect Call of Duty to be great every single year. And most devs, they're struggling to get a game out every 4 years, let alone one every year, to maintain the quality level that the customers expect. And you have to wonder sometimes with how game development is now and everything, like, is that sustainable? Is that a sustainable model? Now, I'll point you back to our discussions we had when the ABK stuff was going down, when we were still thinking, hey, what if instead of what happened, which is like ABK, Xbox becoming more like ABK, we thought, or at least we hoped in our naivety, right, that Xbox would help ABK become more like them, which it ended up being the opposite. But I remember we had talked at what?
I don't know if I agree with that, but continue.
Okay, but we had talked about the idea of like, well, what if they allowed the COD devs to take a break? What if you had a year where you didn't release a COD game? Right? You remember those discussions where it was like, hey, maybe the game needs a break, because I saw, with the whole sales discussion of this, I saw Tom Henderson say something, which kind of goes to my point. He says, Call of Duty is failing now because it's an annual release and they push their teams to hell and back to get COD out the door. I don't think they'll change that unless there's several consecutive bad years, but COD really does need a break, in my opinion, for players and devs. And that was something we talked about during the ABK thing, because it was like, man, they have all these devs on this game, they got 3 studios, and they each have 3 years to make a game, and then something happens, and this year's game's made by Treyarch, and they made last year's game, and it's like, maybe they just need a break and a breather, to reassess, to be like, okay, what do players really want? What do we need to do? We need to take all the feedback from like why Battlefield 6 outdid us like this, and look at Arc Raiders and what is going through, and just gather themselves, take a year where they don't release anything. And we thought maybe that could be something that could happen. And of course, money talks. Right? And it was like, no, it's going to be COD every single year because we spent way too much money on this shit to have a year where we don't put it out. But now you're at that point, and it's like, well, you just got thoroughly outclassed, it seems like, at least, not knowing like everything, because we'll wait for the US sales, but it definitely seems that sentiment's down about this year's Call of Duty, and at least judging from early sales figures in Europe, it's down a shit ton in comparison. So there needs to be a lot of like questions asked and be like, okay, what does this look like moving forward? And I don't necessarily have the answer. They spend way too much money, and they bought all this shit for way too much for simply just to not address it. Now, like, I do agree with Tom said here is like, well, one bad COD is whatever. There has to be a stretch of multiple bad ones. But that's not something you should be like. If that's something that should be worrying to Microsoft. If you're looking at the idea of like,
No, I agree.
oh man, if did we just acquire Call of Duty at its decline? Like, are we going down to the ride to the bottom? If that's the case, then holy shit, you need to really implement some changes. You know, that wouldn't be a good thing.
I mean, I feel like people have been talking about the decline of
the eventual decline of cloud for a long, but they were, and then they kind of saved themselves with the Modern Warfare remakes.
Yeah,
so
for sure. You know,
yeah, I don't know how many times you can pull that rabbit out of a hat, though. You know,
the thing is, it's like in this modern era, I think increasingly so, people are sort of really limited in the ways they can feel like they can make themselves heard. And the only way that really companies will listen to you is to hit them where it hurts, which is the wallet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and these kind of like these organized boycotts, you know, never actually work. You know, I like different games have had these organized boycotts in the past, and you know, I think even Ghost of Yotai had some kind of boycott, and it's like one of the best-selling games of the year. GG.
Mm-hmm.
The boycott didn't work. So, but it's problematic when the zeitgeist moves on without you. And I think like Call of Duty is hitting that point where it's like people are tired of a sort of the game moving in a direction that isn't necessarily what people want from it. And I think one of the issues is that Microsoft and frankly all publicly traded companies, they see expenditure and they assume that's what people want because, you know, their KPI is ultimately money. And they see like, okay, well, lots of people bought the American Dad skins. That means people want the American Dad skins, right? And and the spreadsheet would completely ignore the millions of people that didn't buy it, and it sort of biases the data and skews it towards. It ignores the brand damage you're doing. Basically, is what I'm saying. The brand damage that their monetization models have wrought against COD and frankly other games, and probably coming for some of their other titles too. Like, I genuinely think Diablo 4 has been really negatively impacted by how their cosmetic microtransactions impact gameplay, because all the best stuff is from buying it with real money. It's not actually from playing the game. And I think that has a chilling effect over the sort of the incentive to actually play the game. I think that's like really a genuine thing that is not being measured on a spreadsheet, and the telemetry is biased in favor of, you know, the money, the expenditure. So I think like the only way to sort of get your voice heard really is to literally move on. But I think in years past, there hasn't been a good competitor to move on to. You know, Battlefield has finally stepped up and offered a genuine, credible alternative, a way for people to voice their feedback about the way Call of Duty's been heading. People are basically buying Battlefield in part to be like, I want this, not this. And that's why competition is so crucially important. So for people who do want the gritty modern warfare style Call of Duty back, there's an alternative now. But for many, many years, there just wasn't one. And I suppose like Microsoft's or Activision rather, they're going to look at this shit and be like, okay, well, if now we actually have competition, we can't just cater to the people who will buy all of the Family Guy skins and all of the Beavis and Bird skins. We can't cater to those people anymore. Now that we've got competition, we actually need to look at the market all up. You know, it happened in World of Warcraft as well. Like when World of Warcraft was competing with Final Fantasy 14, game completely changed. They were resting on their laurels for years and years and years. They had no competitor. As soon as they had a competitor, boom, started giving the players pretty much everything they wanted. So competition's a good thing. And I think Call of Duty will be better off for it in the end. And I say this as someone who, again, isn't a big COD fan. But I think Call of Duty needs the competition to get the kick up its arse. And I think it will get back there, man. I think they'll find their way. I'm not ready to doom and gloom the biggest franchise in gaming history this side of Pokemon. They'll find their way back.
I'm surprised you said that because I thought you said the biggest franchise is World of Warcraft, but thank God you didn't.
There's another World of Warcraft mobile game coming, bro. We're gonna be swimming in Warcraft.
I mean, they just announce a Minecraft mobile game?
Yeah, Minecraft Bejeweled.
Yeah, I don't think it's called Minecraft Bejeweled. It's called Minecraft
Blast.
Blast.
Yeah.
There we
But
go.
it is
Minecraft.
Minecraft.
It's like Minecraft Candy Crush, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Minecraft. Yeah, it's by the Candy Crush team. So yeah, it's
So it is by
Minecraft Candy
King.
Crush. It looks
There you
pretty
go.
fun, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think Battlefield, Arc Raiders, and I think Battlefield and Arc Raiders will be a blessing for Call of Duty. And like Rand said, I don't think like it's probably too soon to change next year's Call of Duty, but
Oh, it's definitely
Call of Duty after that.
Call of Duty's coming out in a year. They haven't changing much. Plus, it's supposed to be Modern Warfare 4. But then again, you know, it's going to have a challenge next year.
Radically different.
You know, if it's going up against Grand Theft Auto 6, you know, that's not good for the game, I don't think. So
yeah.
Yeah, they ran into it seems like they ran into the double buzzsaw of Battlefield 6 and Arc Raiders, and both games releasing very close to it, and both games being excellent. Took people away from this year's COD. Plus, I think the people were... One of the first things I did see about COD this year was the giant final boss that everybody just ripped on, which you put in the thumbnail, right? And I think before people had any sort of like... It was like their initial impression of the game based on just that was like, oh my god, what have they done? Look at this piece of shit. And it's funny because as someone who only plays the COD campaign, anytime I say that, people are just like, you're weird. I only play COD for the multiplayer, right? And I know I'm weird. I'm fine. I only play COD for the campaign. But it was the campaign and what people were seeing sort of, I don't know, like it affected them to the point where they didn't even want to even play the multiplayer or check out the game. It's like if the campaign doesn't matter, which is what everybody says, then why does it matter that there's some giant man fighting in the sky? If you never play the campaign,
because the memes, bro.
I know. I'm just saying, like, it's just weird as someone who only plays the campaign. I saw that shit and I was like, oh. Like, as someone who only plays the campaign, I'm like, I don't know if I want to play the campaign with it looking like that. But if I was someone who only played the multiplayer and then played the betas and enjoyed it, why would it matter of what the campaign was? Because I'm not playing it.
The thing is, a lot of the people who comment on social media, and it's like for Xbox 2 as well, like not the podcast, like Xbox as well. I mean,
not the Xbox 2, but not this podcast, but actual Xbox.
Actual Xbox. People comment on things with no intention of playing it. Like,
sure,
people hate on Xbox all day. They've never owned an Xbox and they never will own an Xbox, but they hate on it for days because it's the cool thing to do, right? Same with me and Call of Duty. I was hating on Call of Duty all summer. I ain't an active Call of Duty guy. I haven't been for years, really. So, like, me hating on Call of Duty all summer, kind of like, sort of, unfortunately, contributed to the negative sentiment around the game, probably unfairly, frankly. And you know, and it sort of becomes like I don't know, a circle jerk almost of just hate, which is what social media basically is now. Whether it's Xbox, whether it's Call of Duty, there are just things that are popular to hate on, like Ubisoft as well. Like there's so people clown on Ubisoft all day, every day, and you know, for better or worse. So I do think, but genuinely, I do think Call of Duty will find its way back into the light, and I think ultimately competition's a good thing. And the reason I've been hating on Call of Duty is because of purely because of the Fortnite stuff. It was always fun to play. Even at its worst, Call of Duty was always fun to play. There's something about the way Call of Duty feels online that just makes it addictive. There's just something about it. I don't know what it is. The you know, the hit markers, the sound effects, the satisfaction of slapping someone in the face with a 50 cal, you know, it's just something satisfying about it, man. But I do think like that's half the battle, is making the underlying game fun. It's just all the stuff on top that they need to figure out. And in a universe where people are sort of more divided than ever, I think like the play is really is just to offer different experiences for different players. You know, I think like they're doing Fortnite. There's like Fortnite no build mode. There's Fortnite classic mode. You know, if you want, there should just be a Call of Duty sad millennial mode, which just has no Fortnite skins. And I know you've said in the past, Rand, they would never do that because then nobody would buy the skins. well, Rand, nobody will buy the game if they don't address all this shit, I think. So I do think there's like, they've got to do something, and we'll just see what happens, I guess.
I wonder if everybody just looks at Fortnite and they see Fortnite doing a Kill Bill thing alongside the Simpsons thing with, because I saw some trailer, it was like Godzilla versus Kong, and then there was like a large Homer, and then there was the bride from Kill Bill, and all these things. I'm like, man, I bet you so many of these games wish they could have those sort of partnerships that you could do in Fortnite. That is okay to do in Fortnite because that's just what the game is. Where it doesn't work in any of these other games.
Yeah.
You know,
if you want to do that, then make a new game. It's not hard, man. It is hard to make a game, but seriously, you can't just expect gamers to just give you a Fortnite. You have to make it, you know. And I think like there's a time and a place, and I think with Call of Duty's roots being gritty military shooter, you can't just be adding Family Guy skins and not expecting some kind of pushback. You know, Fortnite was always this cartoony, weird thing that didn't make a whole lot of sense. That was light on, you know, realism from the outset. It was always a cartoony Pixar kind of thing. It was the perfect platform for that shit, you know. But Call of Duty is just not good for it, you know. And maybe you could do a mode where you could have all that stuff if you want it, you know. Make Warzone that mode. I don't know. I mean, I say that as someone who doesn't play Warzone. But I really think that the easy fix here, Rand, the easiest fix in the universe is just give me the toggle, man. Give people the toggle.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need to do, bro. Just give the toggle. And everything will be fixed.
Okay. So
Face 23 BKMY is out here trying to sell PS5s. Trying to get Astor to buy a Black Friday sale PS5. There are some crazy sales on PS5, man. I saw a PS5 in the UK for £280. That's like $300 through my phone carrier. My phone carrier has such great deals. It sounds like I'm shilling for my phone carrier now, but like my phone carrier offers Xbox Game Pass Ultimate at the old price. And they're out here offering PlayStation 5s for like $300. It's crazy. I've got no excuse not to get one. Other than
I think they're $100 off, right? For Black Friday. I think it was the number.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a rumor that Microsoft is about to raise prices again.
Yeah, so Moore's Law is dead said Microsoft wants to raise prices again in response to the situation with RAM. Yeah, so Samsung and I can't remember the name of the other company that makes RAM, but there are two main companies that fabricate RAM, and both of them said that demand is forcing them to explore putting their prices up. And because Microsoft basically makes Xbox Series S and X hardware to order now, they never sit on any stock at all. So like when there are like increases in RAM and stuff like that, Microsoft doesn't have any stock that they've purchased at the old price. They have to purchase stock at the new price, which is why I think Xbox Series X gets more price increases more rapidly, because they're not sitting on any stock they can sell at the old price. They're basically making them to order. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was true. I don't know like how much the RAM increase will impact the overall sale price of the Series X, but it's gonna eat into their margins, definitely. Maybe they'll just be like, well, we've got a margin target here. So
they can use their favorite words, market conditions.
Market conditions, those pesky market conditions. What are they like, eh?
Well, I guess we'll see, if it happens. Or, supposedly it's supposed to be very soon, according to him. So we'll see if it actually happens. Maybe we'll be talking about it next week. Maybe Microsoft raised the prices of their consoles for Black Friday. Oh, you wanted to buy an Xbox? Guess what? Now it's more expensive.
That'd be such a Microsoft thing to do. Raise the prices on Black Friday instead of lowering it.
Yeah.
I blame you for that.
It would be, but take that as a rumor for right now. I did see that making the rounds on Gaming Leaks and Rumors over on Reddit.
Oh, they love me there, man.
Oh,
they love me on that side.
let's talk about let's talk about you and how much love was shown to you this past week, because on this very show a week ago, you'd said something, and as soon as you said it, I said everybody's gonna clip this, and it was about because we were discussing Sony and their PC initiative, and discussing like, well, because there was kind of the thought of like, hey, there's the cross-buy icons that were discovered, and Sony's making gaming monitors and all these sort of things, and it seemed like Sony was more speeding up more stuff to PC closer to day one versus letting it go, right? And you said, and I knew as soon as you said it that everybody would grab onto this, even though you iterated that it was a rumor that you heard from one person and you didn't even know if it was gonna be true. It was just something you heard. It's like, whatever. You said that you had heard that Sony was pulling back on their PC stuff, right? And bro,
that's just a random ass industry.
Just a random, and it's funny because Paris, then when they talked about it on Gamertag Radio, shout out to Paris, he mentioned he heard a similar rumor back in the summer. But basically, it had no weight. It was just, oh, that's interesting that Jez heard this. I heard this back then, but I don't think it's true. And
well, evidently it wasn't true, because unless does he mean pre or post Helldivers?
I would imagine I'm not sure. You'd have to ask Paris. Paris would have to clarify, but it was about like PC stuff. It wasn't about PlayStation bringing games to Xbox. It was about PC. It was about what you said. Like, they'll pull back on the PC things.
Oh right. Yeah.
And man,
sorry, I just think of Xbox as a PC now. My bad.
Oh well, sure.
I'm joking. Don't get offended, everyone.
But everybody took your rumor that you were like, I don't even know if I believe this. Who knows? And they presented it as like a truth. Everybody that, when you report something, immediately is like, I don't believe it's Jez Corden. What does he know? Jez Corden's chill. Jez Corden, whatever. Right? All these people that normally discount everything you say, and make fun of you for everything, are now being like, did you see what Jez Corden said? Holy shit, it's happening. Sony's going back to exclusives, and they're done with PC. And I knew it would end up that way. I knew the people that would give you shit and never believe anything you say would suddenly be like, oh, Jez Corden knows what he's talking about. Look at this. It's happening. Dude, people did emergency podcasts about what you said.
Oh,
realistic. People did videos. People did videos. There was tons of tweets, emergency podcasts, and it's just funny to see.
Bro, I tried hard when we were talking about that to emphasize that it was just hearsay.
It's what people want. It's what people wanted, bro. It's
on this show. I've said this a million times. On this show, I like to be transparent as much as I can about just random stuff that I'm hearing. Like, if it's a genuine like source report, it's gonna go up on Windows Central first, so I can pay the bills. If it's here, then it's just us as friends in the Xbox 2 universe shooting the shit, unless explicitly stated otherwise. And this, I'm coming out here saying like, oh yeah, this is definitely happening. If I'm specifically saying no, this is a rumor. It's definitely maybe just a rumor. Take it with a huge pinch of salt. It's just talking points for the podcast, I mean, there's plenty of reasons to look. It's kind of like the Call of Duty thing, right? There are reasons why Sony should pull back on PC, and there's reasons why they should go forward. I mean, Alinea Analytics was out here saying that Sony's made
$1 billion, which is like
$1 billion from PC.
That's not something.
$1 billion with a B.
That's not something you pull back from. That's something you actually probably more fully embrace.
Yeah, exactly. So, exactly, but at the same time, if I'm a PlayStation and I'm looking at the Steam machine and, maybe I'm freaking out a little bit about the Steam machine and its potential as a threat, and the sort of marketing line of, it's got Xbox and PlayStation games, and like, we'll talk about the Steam machine rumored pricing in a little bit. But like, if I'm Sony and I'm freaking out about that, maybe I'm thinking like we need to pull back a little bit and wait and see what Steam Machine's impact's going to be before we continue supporting Steam. Or maybe what we do is we make our own PC store and take 100% of the revenue, which is what I've said they should always do. You know, if if it's about selling games, then you got to be on Steam day and date to bust the zeitgeist. But if it's about creating an ecosystem for PlayStation gamers on PC, which Sony's tried to do by like having required logins for some games and things like that, then making your own PC store is the thing, you know. Yeah, sure, you won't get such a big cut of the sales, but I feel like if you did day and date with your biggest games and AAA bangers, like if Ghost of Yotai was on a PlayStation PC store day and date, it would have sold really well on PC. I think even if it was in a separate launcher. I really do. I think like as long as the launch is actually good, but Sony can make software when they try. You know, all it needs to be is as good as BattleNet. Like people log on to BattleNet to play Overwatch, even though it's a separate launcher. They will do it in the right circumstances, and I think Sony's games are one of those circumstances. But at the same time, maybe Sony's also thinking like, you know, we need to push our own hardware footprint because this is our bread and butter and this is our ecosystem. We've got no control over what happens with Steam. We've got no control over what happens with that ecosystem over there. You know, so I could see the argument for both ways. I mean, I've never claimed to know what their plans are. All I was doing was sharing.
Well, so here's the thing. So people, because I saw this and people were like, well, how could you believe Jez? Because he said on Twitter that Sony's day and date is coming, and then he says that they're pulling back, and I'm just like, I'm listening to this, I'm like, bro, one's an opinion and one's a single rumor he heard that he doesn't know if it's any true. But people, that's what I told you before. People take your little tweets as 100% verifiable fact that it's not your opinion, it's what's happening. It's the same problem that happens with Tom Henderson or Jeff Grubb, you know, Tom Warren, or anybody that has any sort of background in leaking something, is they take any sort of thing that might be an opinion or thinly veiled opinion, and they think of it as a leak of some kind. Like, oh, this Jez is saying this, so it must be happening because whatever. And then when you say the opposite later on, people are like, well, what the fuck's going on? Like, is he lying? Is he just, this is, and they don't know.
Well, people have recontextualized what I say. Like you said, one was an opinion. Like, my opinion was that they'll do in day and date, but I'll explain that. Someone, you know, saw that was my opinion, and then they reached out and said, well, actually, I've heard this rumor, you know, which may or may not be true. And they themselves said this may or may not be true. You know, so it's like one thing could be true one week, and then plans change. But that wasn't even what this was. It was one was an opinion and one was a rumor. My opinion is that they will, or at least should, do day and date, and the money doesn't lie. I mean, look, they've made $1 billion. They made $1 billion. So my opinion is they should do day and date, and if they're following the money, then they will do day and date. But I can also see why they wouldn't. You know, especially if ideologically they don't want to. I'm not going to compromise how I podcast just because some people are dumb. Frankly,
I love the fact that people use.
If people enjoy me sharing rumors on the podcast, as long as they like accept the fact that they are rumors when I say they're rumors, I'm going to keep doing it. I don't care what these random ass bitches say on Reddit.
Bro. Yeah. I mean, I think people. I love providing content for people's Twitter feeds so they can clip you and what you say and whatever. It's just hilarious to me that we have a situation where if you say something, they only believe you if it's negative about Xbox and positive about PlayStation. Then it's, oh my God, Jez is so right. He's so amazing. He's great. But if you say something that's positive about Xbox and negative about PlayStation, he's full of shit. He's a shill. You know what I mean? It's so fucking transparent. Obviously, there's a lot of people out there that, you know, want to feed into their confirmation biases.
It's not a real place. So, like, sometimes I get such angry DMs about some stuff, and I'm just like, I know this person doesn't get this angry about console wars in real life. It's almost like a sport that they they're addicted to online. And it's just like none of this shit is real life, and it just doesn't bother me. What bothers me really is when like people are like get really personal and attack my friends and stuff like that, or try and dox me and stuff like that. It's like, why are you taking all this shit so seriously? It's really, really weird. But it really is whatever, man. I don't know. I'm never claimed to know what Sony's plans are. Sony's not my beat, but sometimes I do hear random things. And Xbox is my beat, which is why when I reported last month that we were going to have a November partner preview event, thank God it was true.
It went up on Windows Central, right?
Yeah, it went up on Windows Central. There's multiple sources, and when all that stuff blew up about like people saying, "Oh, it's fake news" and stuff, I was like, "Oh God, if this partner preview turns out to be incorrect now, or the plans change or something, everyone's going to be like, yeah, look, see, there's the evidence. Jez said there was a partner preview event and then it didn't happen, but no, it did happen. So now there's crickets,
Right.
But it's
crickets
whatever.
indeed.
It's part of the job, and I'm not here for the haters. I'm here for you guys and Xbox Two and the Xbox community. That's my job.
So,
and that's what I like to do.
We mentioned the Steam machine as sort of a catalyst of maybe why Sony might want to pull back on PC, because of the fear that the Steam machine could eat into their console business, since the Steam machine seems like a consoleized PC in a way, right? And a lot of that had to factor into a lot of that was because, well, that it would play all the PlayStation games that are on Steam. It would play all the Xbox games. It, has no multiplayer paywall. It has all the benefits of PC, where you could, do all these things, install Windows, right? Like, play your entire Steam library. Sounds like a great thing. Everybody was over the moon about the Steam machine, despite the fact that maybe it was less powerful than maybe people had hoped. Somewhere between a Series S and a base PS5, but closer to the base PS5 and stuff like that. And there was a lot of hope that, hey, this thing would come in and just disrupt the console market in a way that nothing has in a long time. It was going to come in at $400 or $500 and really, put the screws to PlayStation and Nintendo and Xbox. But I guess in an interview with Lions Tech Tips, when he asked about the price, apparently Valve said that this is going to be priced more like a PC than a console, which has everybody's alarm bells ringing, because PCs are quite expensive, even though consoles are getting more and more expensive these days too, right? Like, what is the Switch to? Like $450, $500. The PS5's what, $550, $600? I'm not sure exact on the price. The PS5 Pro $750. The Series X is $400 plus for the Series S and $650 for the Series X. So it's like the prices are getting up there, and so it seems like the hope that a $400 or $500 Steam machine is kind of evaporating and right before people's eyes, and now you get maybe the thought that this base model could be $700 and the next model up could be $800 or whatever it be, and then does the appeal of that system start to wane and when you compare it to the consoles at the time? I don't know. What do you think about all this, Jez? This does, I will say, this does play into your thought that these things were going to be more expensive than people wanted. And I took the devil's advocate approach against you of being like, well, no, maybe it'll be cheap. Maybe it'll be $500, $600. But it definitely seems like this thing's going to be more expensive than people want it to be, right?
I think people expected it to be cheaper because the Steam Deck is like really affordable.
Well, it's like what the Steam Deck is $350 for the low end. Like, what is it in the middle? Like $600 or something for the middle variant.
Yeah, it depends on how much storage and depends how much storage and OLED you get and stuff like that. But yeah, like I heard, because if you remember, I didn't get my information on the Steam machine from Valve. I got it from sources, like similar sources to where I got Lenovo Legion Go leaks or the Xbox Ally leaks, like hardware sources. And like I had the Steam machine via that, and they were like, don't know the exact price, but don't expect this to be cheap, and they were pretty specific about saying it's probably going to come in higher than the Series X.
Whew,
At the current price.
$700.
Yeah, but
Oh.
like again, they don't know the price. I'm not sure even Valve knows the price. It's probably like with the Xbox Ally, where they're like, let's wait and see what the tariff situation is before we fully commit to a price.
And if there's a
And they're
RAM
going to announce,
situation?
yeah, or stuff like that. They obviously we're going to find out the price eventually, but it does feel like there's a sort of wait and see approach to some of this stuff, right? So personally, I think like I could definitely see it being $6.99 for the base model, and you've got to remember as well that the controller is packed with technology, and the information that I had said, so I don't know if this is true or not, but the information that I had suggested that um you were gonna be able to purchase it without a controller. So like maybe like without a controller, you can shave off some of the cost, because that controller is going to be packed with technology, like a ton of tech. So if you want to make some savings, maybe you just use an existing controller, because obviously this is a PC. It's going to be compatible with the Xbox and PlayStation controllers as well. So if you've already got a controller, you don't necessarily need to buy one. But yeah, I could totally see $6.99 being the base price, but I honestly don't know. I really, really don't know. But it does sound like it's not going to be undercutting the main consoles. Put it that way.
Yeah, I sort of feel the more expensive it gets, the appeal starts to become more and more limited.
Well, this is the other aspect of the price, right? I imagine they're not doing bulk orders for this. This is going to be like, we know this is going to be niche because it's not going to have kernel level anti-cheat, which precludes it from a lot of modern service games that people want. It's going to preclude it from. It's going to be excluded from having Fortnite or Roblox or Minecraft, at least without having to jump through some hoops. I know you can get those games on Steam OS if you're willing to mess around with Linux and stuff, but like that's not what these devices are designed for. In essence, they're designed to be console like ease of use kind of experiences. So that kind of like flies in the face of it. If you are someone willing to tinker, you probably already got a PC for that, like a proper PC. So the whole point of this device, and if it is low volume, that means the price is going to be high, because they're not buying like the more volume you commit to buying, the more discount you get, right? When you're buying wholesale prices. Like if you're buying like 10 million units, it's going to be cheaper per unit than if you're buying like 100,000 units, right? And also like you have to think about what Valve's distribution model looks like. They're pretty much selling stuff mostly direct, I think. So there's also that issue to contend with. And the business is like early days yet. So I think a lot of people who just don't understand retail or don't care to understand, they expect Valve to be spinning up assembly lines to make 10 million units and take on Xbox and PlayStation head on, while also not having the mass market games. While also expecting people who already have existing PCs, which is probably going to be like, for the enthusiast crowd at least, way more powerful than this. I know Valve said something like the Steam machine is going to be more powerful than 70% of games that are attached to Steam, based on the Steam survey.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but the enthusiasts who are like talking about it a lot online and hyping it up and stuff, they've probably already got a more powerful PC.
Of course they do. Well, 30% of them at least.
The whole point of the Steam machine is to give people who enjoy their Steam Deck an upgrade path. If they've got a Steam Deck and they like the Steam Deck as a console experience, they'll have the option of getting something that's way more powerful while also maintaining the experience they've come to enjoy. And then like as the Steam machine gets more popular, in theory, with future iterations, then the price comes down. The volume goes up, the distribution goes up, the price comes down, but the price becomes more competitive. I do think the Steam machine is still an existential threat to both PlayStation and Xbox, more so Xbox being lower on the ladder. It's still an existential threat over time, I think, but not the first iteration. The first iteration is probably going to be very targeted around a specific audience. They need to solve things like kernel level anti-cheat. They need to solve things like getting Epic Games to put Fortnite on Steam, which I think is something that could happen in the future. I don't see why not. Also Roblox and Minecraft. If you want that casual audience, that demand a casual price point, then you have to have the casual games that want to play. So yeah, I think the Steam machine will grow out to be a threatening business, but it's not gonna be that from the outset. They won't have the volume, and I don't think they'll have the price point. But it's still gonna be a great system, I think, and be fun to watch.
Right. Yeah, it'd be
It's not gonna have World
very
of Warcraft either, so
very interesting seeing what the price is going to be on those things. And the big rumor that's been making the rounds that is about Half-Life 3. A lot of people expected it to be announced this week on Tuesday, on the 18th, and it wasn't. People are talking openly about the game now, as if like it exists and it's just only a matter of time before it's announced. So
yeah, my Instagram feed's full of Half-Life memes now.
yeah. So a lot of people are maybe hoping or expecting it to be at the Keeleys on December 12th or whenever that is. Do they do that? I don't know. I mean, because there's a part of me that wonders if the release of the Steam machine is also going to be tied to the release of Half-Life 3. Not saying that Half-Life 3 could be only playable on the Steam machine, but that would be a good like co-marketing sort of a moment of, hey, Half-Life 3, the game you've been waiting for 20 some odd years now, is finally here, and also we have this hardware that you can potentially play it on, right? Because I think if we had talked about it before, because Valve's always brought their games to Xbox and PlayStation, right? Like the OG Half-Life was on the OG Xbox. The Orange Box came to the 360 and PS3 with Team Fortress 2 and Portal and Half-Life 2, and then Portal 2 came to both platforms. In fact, if you remember, Gabe, after talking shit about the PS3 in the media, actually showed up on Sony's stage to announce Portal 2, which was a big holy shit moment. I don't know if you remember that or not at the time.
No,
so
I don't, but
a lot of Valve's games. Valve sort of stopped making games, right? The Left 4 Dead games, Left 4 Dead 2, they were all on all the platforms.
They've been they were making that hero shooter though. What's it called?
Deadlocked, I believe. Deadlocked.
Yeah. That looks good.
But I think your expectation was that when Half-Life 3 does get announced and when it does release, it's only going to be on Steam.
Even if you wanted to drive hype for your device, then
sure,
why not, right?
I mean, they could do that. I mean, they're in a position to do whatever they want, really. I will say that is a game that will make me actually play something on my PC. There's not a chance I'm missing Half-Life 3. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Well, bro, like I've one thing the Half-Life hype's been biting me recently.
Yeah.
Because I don't like VR very much.
Yeah,
but one thing
I don't like VR either, and I really wish I could play Half-Life Alyx.
But yeah, one thing I haven't played is Half-Life Alyx. I bought it in one of the sales, but like I often do with Steam, is buy games and never play them. But like with Half-Life Alyx, like one thing I've tried to set up, right? I've got like a little bag for my Xbox Ally X. Got a little bag from Xbox Ally X, and then I can plug my Xbox. And I know you can do this wirelessly, but I don't have the thing for it. I plug my Xbox MetaQuest into my Xbox Ally X, and I can use VR with the cable off the Xbox Ally X's battery, and then plug the Xbox Ally X into a battery pack to get even more battery. And it's like this crazy sort of VR backpack thing I got going on, So you could do that. And then, Rand, I have to ask you, if I'm playing Half-Life Alyx on my Xbox MetaQuest with my Xbox Ally X, is that an Xbox?
Is the what?
If I'm playing Half-Life Alyx on the Xbox MetaQuest using the Xbox Ally X, is that an Xbox?
I don't know. You're going around in circles with that whole thing. Where'd you buy the game?
Steam.
Okay, it's a Steam game, so it's on Steam.
Yeah, but I'm playing it on an Xbox VR and an Xbox handheld.
I don't know. It's kind of a similar situation of like, I'm watching Stranger Things, but I'm watching it on my Samsung. Is it a Samsung or is it a Netflix title?
Is it a Samsung?
It's like, it doesn't matter the device you're using.
Well, I don't know,
where are you
bro.
getting it from?
Yeah, I guess.
You know,
I
like,
guess
yeah,
that's
you
the
could play
kicker,
Half-Life Alyx on the Meta through ROG Ally, whatever. Where'd you buy
No,
the
but
game?
dude, what if I launched the game through the Xbox full screen experience?
I mean, I think Microsoft loves the idea of people saying like PC is an Xbox no matter what, when it's not the case. You know, I think they just love that because it does drive discussion and it does create strong feelings either way, whether you're very much in agreement or not. But you know, yeah, the whole Half-Life thing is interesting because for a long time it was they'll make one. Yeah, but the years passed and it was like they're never gonna do it, right? And then it was like rumors start up and you're like, oh, actually it's gonna happen this time, and then it's like a VR game and it's like, oh, it's like I guess we're never gonna get a Half-Life 3. Like Valve can't count to 3, right? And now this time it really seems like a fucking open secret in the industry, doesn't it? It seems like
Yeah, it really does.
It really seems like people know. And
I haven't for this is another thing that bugs me about like people saying I don't know things. Like if I was just making shit up, wouldn't I just claim to know everything? I don't know shit about Half-Life, whether it's true or not. I could be out here saying things like, "Oh yeah," or teasing it, or I because it's a pretty safe bet that it probably is real.
yes,
But no, I genuinely haven't heard shit about Half-Life 3. I have no idea if it's real or not. Like if I know something, I'll just say
I want
There's
it
no
to be
point
real.
There's no point lying.
I want it to be real.
The internet exists. I want it to exist too. Everyone wants it to exist.
Yeah,
right?
everybody does. Although it's one of those things where it's like, is it a game that is better left to your imagination? Whereas
Are you saying it won't live up
well,
to
no, because
expectations?
there's the thing. It's been so long. It's been so
you-
many years that the game's been built up in people's heads for so long that could the actual product after all this time live up to your expectations of the game? It does run that risk. But it's
You're
Valve.
poo-pooing it, aren't you?
No, I mean, bro, look.
You're jinxing it, bro.
I don't use my
bro.
PC for gaming, and if Half-Life 3 if they announced Half-Life 3 and it was only available on PC, that would be the game that I'd be playing it day one on my PC. 100%.
You're jinxing it, bro.
I cannot miss Half-Life 3. I need that game. Cuz there was a time there when people would ask me, what do you like more, Half-Life or Halo? And at a time there, I was like, I was a Half-Life guy before I was a Halo guy.
Do you wanna hear something embarrassing?
What?
When I was 16, I wrote a 7-minute long rap that was about. It was basically two people arguing about whether Halo or Half-Life was better. And it was 7 minutes long. Rap.
Interesting.
Terrible. It
Yeah.
was really
It does
bad.
sound like it was pretty terrible, Joes.
It's fucking awful.
It did sound like it was something terrible.
It was really bad.
We got some super chats here. We have Michael. And YouTube goes back to like people's usernames instead of their names, or sometimes it's hard to read. He says, as an Xbox fan, I work in retail in Australia for our Black Friday sale. PlayStation 5 digital is $479 and the Xbox Series X is $729. Yeah, it's expensive. Quite expensive. Fell 5000 says PS5 with 2 games is half price in Brazil for Black Friday, where the Series X didn't receive any discount. Microsoft seems to abandon the Xbox Series. Wouldn't it be better to launch the new Xbox in the first half of 2026? Not if it's not ready.
It needs to be ready.
Yeah.
Especially that one, because it's gonna be different. It's got to be polished.
I don't think
the
it's
Xbox Ally X ain't polished.
Yeah, I mean, even with the new Xbox experience coming to handhelds and PC today, I think most people would tell you that it's the step in the right direction, but it's not a finished product. They still need more and more updates. So, and that's something that they need to have ironed completely out for that system whenever it launches, which both me and Jess thinks is fall 2027. I think it's fool's gold if you believe that first party Xbox is coming next year. Definitely, if you're saying early next year, the software is not going to be ready. You get one chance at a good first impression, and
you only get one shot.
Yeah. So no,
Sorry,
I don't think 2026 is it. I think you're looking at that system to be 2027, late in the year, probably November. As that's the thing, like these consoles, people are like, it's usually what, just November for these consoles. Like PlayStation and Xbox, always in November. Nintendo's the one that can kind of get away with it. They'll launch in March. They'll launch in June. Nintendo does whatever the hell Nintendo wants. But everybody else is like, the consoles come out in November. So when I always see people talk about, well, maybe it'll come out the first half of 2020, first half of the year, it's like, come on, these things never do. But I wouldn't think, even if like, say the hardware was ready for early 2026, there's no way the software stuff is ready. So no. I mean, it makes it sound like, yeah, it should be, considering, like Jess said, it sounds like the Series X and S are made to order these days. And, there's not that many in the marketplace. And they're more susceptible to price increases because you don't have a whole, like stockpile to sell through. That's like, oh, well, just move on to the new one. And it's like, well, that's not that easy. I don't think it's going to be ready. I see people talking about launching alongside the Grand Theft Auto 6. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, why are you even putting that out in the ether, let alone like thinking about it to yourself? You're only going to set yourself up for disappointment if you're legitimately thinking that it's launching alongside GTA 6, you're only just going to get mad at yourself. Well, you'll get mad at Microsoft because you built it up in your head that was going to happen. But there's no indication that it actually is going to happen. So you'll get pissed off at Microsoft and Xbox for not having it ready. But the person you should be mad at is you, because you've built up this narrative in your head that's just not true. Or at least we think is not true. I mean, I could be 100% wrong. Maybe the system's ready by the end of next year, and maybe GTA is playable on it. But if I were a betting man, like if I was putting money down on it, I would not be betting that. I'd be betting that it wouldn't play it. I put all my money across the table and be like, it's not coming on that day. And I'd take all your money. We have Frosty, who says, hey Jez, have you seen the new cloud update on Xbox PC app? Can select stream quality and even choose to opt for GeForce Now in certain games. Have you checked out?
Sorry, say that again.
Frosty says, hey Jez, have you seen the new cloud update on the Xbox PC app? You can select stream quality and even choose to opt for GeForce Now in certain games.
Oh, really? Let me have a look. So, I've been using cloud a fair bit on my Xbox Series X for games that aren't native or games that just won't run well. But, oh yeah, so if you click on the settings button now, all resolutions listed here represent maximum values. Specified for each option, therefore 1080p denotes support for up to 1080p resolution. Auto, 1440p max quality. The recommended setting for this user's device and subscription tier. And then it also lists how much gigabytes it uses. So 1080, it doesn't say how much. No, it does. Yeah. So 1440p uses 14 gigabytes an hour of bandwidth. So if you've got a bandwidth cap, do not use that. 1080p uses 9 gigabytes an hour, and 720 uses 5 gigabytes an hour. That's a lot more than I thought, but I suppose it makes sense, right? Do you have a bandwidth cap on your internet, Rand?
I used to, but I don't now. I upgraded my plan so I wouldn't have one. But yeah,
they're not really a thing
one
in Europe.
They're a thing in the States, depending on the plan. Like I had a bandwidth cap. I forget how much it was. I think there was a couple times I did go over it. But then I upgraded the plan for higher speeds, and that came with no cap, no data cap. So,
well,
never have to worry about it.
Oh well, this is cooler still. Like I didn't even realize this, but I just launched Clover Pit with Cloud while we're streaming, right? And it works with my mouse. I don't have to plug in. I don't have to plug in a Xbox controller. So we got PC streaming now as well.
Hey,
That's fantastic. And yeah, that is flawless, man. It's just native. Cloud gaming is getting super good, man. It's getting really good, bro. I'm telling you, man.
Juan
Shit's
says,
getting legit.
Sire Rand, Microsoft and thinking can't be in the same sentence. It's crystal clear. The plan is there is no plan. They just go with the wind. Love the show. PD, the wind are the shareholders. Yeah. The wind are the shareholders. How true is that?
Oh, actually, I was just playing Clover Pit natively. I wasn't on cloud. My bad.
There's a little bit of Ubisoft news.
Hit me up with some Ubisoft news.
That if you remember this past week, they delayed their, or was it maybe the week before, they delayed their financial reporting. And a lot of people are like, oh, they got acquired. They got acquired. Who bought them? Who bought them? Who bought them? Somebody acquired them. And people are like, I have inside information. They've been acquired. Right? Turns out, no, nothing to do with anything being acquired. Just going through we had an accounting issue. And actually, we're doing better than people think. We're doing great. I don't know if you saw that. They're, like Ubisoft said, they're doing very good. Assassin's Creed is doing amazing, which is counter to all the claims that Assassin's Creed Shadows was a big failure, I guess. They specifically called that game out. But it sounds like Ubisoft's doing great. I saw Tom Henderson had some leaks. He posted that the Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake is releasing before March 2026. They also put out, Insider Gaming just putting out tons of articles, that Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake is scheduled to release in mid-January 2026 with an appearance likely at the Game Awards. So, a lot of Ubisoft news because they reported their stuff. So, seems like we're going to be getting, at least early next year, the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake and Black Flag remake. Did you like Black Flag? Did you play Assassin's Creed Black Flag when it came out?
I did, yeah. It was the first Xbox One game I played, I think, actually.
Yeah, because it was a 360 game. I think it had a 360 version and an Xbox One version. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I love Black Flag. I thought it was fantastic. It's probably the last Assassin's Creed. I really enjoyed Origin. I thought Origin was good too, actually. But then I really like the Egyptian setting, kind of.
The Egyptian setting is pretty unique.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But I don't know. Maybe I'm too harsh on Ubisoft, bro.
Well, I mean, they also, I think Gibbs Yuma also said today that they're using AI in all their studios are using it in all their games or whatever. So,
oh, maybe I'm not too harsh then.
Some quote like that I saw. So but it is what it is. With Assassin's Creed, I really did like Black Flag. I remember playing that. That was a time where I was still playing all the Assassin's Creed every year, from 1 to 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, Assassin's Creed 3, and then it was Black Flag, and then it was Unity. And Unity sort of was so bad I didn't play Syndicate, and then I didn't even play Origins. I played Odyssey, and I loved it. I skipped, what was the Assassin's Creed Viking one? What was that called? I skipped Valhalla, and I did
Assassin's Creed Viking.
I mean, am I wrong? And I did play Assassin's Creed Shadows.
I skipped that as well,
quite a bit, but
I regret skipping Assassin's Creed Viking.
I don't regret skipping that game. I regret skipping Origins. I've been thinking about actually playing Origins.
You know, like I was so burned out on Ubisoft games that like I started Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And there was like near the start, there's some quest where it's like, oh, please go and retrieve my necklace from the bottom of some lake. And I was just like swimming around. I was like, where's this fucking necklace? And I just couldn't be bothered. It's just like, and I was just like, I can't be bothered to fetch this necklace. And I just turned it off and never played it again. I was just so done with Ubisofty kind of games. But like a lot of people say Valhalla was great. So like, I need to go back and give it another go.
So we'll talk about some of the stuff we've been playing. I finished Dispatch, Jez. Did I tell you that? I finished it this week, didn't I? When did I tweet about it? either way, I think I mentioned I had played it last week, but I hadn't finished it, and I was saving my full thoughts for beating the game. And I think I finally beat the game. I loved it, Jez. Holy crap, it was so good. Blew all my expectations away. Top 5 game of the year, potentially top 3 for me, depending on where I list some things out. Dude, it is so good. It has no right to be as good as it is, but it is. It's crazy. A game that literally came out of nowhere. 8 episodes long. Each episode's like an hour-ish. So you're looking at about 8 hours. And I need more, Jez. I need a season 2. And this might be one of the better Telltale style games out there, period. Like, even when you compare the, Walking Dead games and the Life is Strange games or whatever, like that genre of interactive movie/game, this is up at the top. Some of the creme de la creme. It's so freaking good, dude. Like, the story, the voice acting, like, we sometimes we get questions on here about, hey, could somebody, could you make like a new game that's based off of, not based on an IP? Because someone always asks us about, hey, could you make a Flash game but without the Flash, without the IP, and just do it? And it's like, well, that's pretty tough because the Flash has a lot of cachet. People know what it is. And here they've built this universe with all these superheroes that are all unique in a way. Like, there's no, how like a lot of like The Boys, for instance, where you look at each character and you can tell, like, that's just a stand-in for Captain America, or that's a stand-in for Wonder Woman. Like Homelander's just evil Superman, right? Where it's just like they're taking the archetypes from DC and Marvel, and they just have those variants here, like Aquaman. Oh, that's just the Deep, right? But a dumber, like a stupid version of it, right? Where it's like they're just characters of what already exists. Where I felt in this one, there wasn't any of that. It was like there was no, oh, this is the Wonder Woman stand-in, this is a Superman stand-in, this is the Iron Man stand-in. These were all like very unique characters, which I greatly appreciated in that regard. Where it wasn't just like, oh, it's evil Superman. Aaron Paul was amazing. Laura Bailey was great.
How do you feel about Aaron Paul being snubbed?
Yeah, I think the problem is the game released like
too early.
Too late. At least too late, where people already had voted on the nominees, which we'll be talking about the nominee stuff. So yeah, I think it's just I'm happy for the studio because apparently like they had a lot of problems getting this game out. Like there was talk about insolvency and stuff, and now it's I think they said they broke their sales forecast, their 3-year sales forecast in like 2 weeks or something. So they've sold like 2 million copies already. So they've beaten their sales forecast and their 3-year sales forecast in basically less than a month, which is kind of crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Always, you love to see it, indie devs.
Yeah, they didn't have a lot of money, so they prioritized PC and PlayStation, and they've talked about bringing it to other platforms, which I think it'll eventually come to Switch 2 and Xbox down the road. But man, what a game. I love it. I thought that game was so good. And I'm also playing still Arc Raiders. I thought, like last week I said, you know what, maybe I'm coming to the end of my journey, which I'd be fine with. I got a good 50 hours into it. A lot of joy. This week, Jez, no, none of that line of thinking. Like there was some great games we had, and I'm just like, I'm still as addicted to it as I was. And I don't know how. I'm just gonna keep on playing it. Maybe next week will be the final week, but I'm up to like 72 hours now in the game. And I could easily see myself playing 100 more, like not 100 more, but being past 100. The discourse is hilarious on Twitter and elsewhere about you need to nerf free loadouts, or you need to if you're running free loadout, you need to start at like 15 minutes, not at the beginning of the thing, and they need to have it only PvE only map and all this sort of stuff because a game's popular when you got all these sort of things. mention, or like Gaz, for instance, Gaz posting clips of him being the devil to people,
An absolute
befriending them
toxic.
and then murdering them. And then other people get
Gaz is like
so
the
angry,
most
like,
toxic
dude,
one.
you're such a fucking piece of shit for doing that. And I'm just like, it's all part of the game, baby. What do you mean?
Oh, not the player hate the
You
game,
can't
right?
trust people. Even when I play solo and I come across people who are like, I'm friendly. I'm cautious, man. I'm like, I've been betrayed. It's a good
You said that last week.
yeah, man. It's a good.
It destroyed you.
Well, yeah, it really I lost a whole bunch of shit, and the guy was like, I'm friendly, and then he turned on me. So now I'm just like, do I pay it forward? Do hurt people hurt people? I think so, because I don't trust anybody anymore.
You just mean you.
And now I'm on the lookout. Like if a guy comes in and he's like friendly, and I'm gonna start the machine to take us back to Speranza, but he's all of a sudden right behind me, I'm getting out that device. What are you doing? Put your gun away. I'm fucking shooting you in the face. I've been burned. But I just love that discussion about how PvP can kind of teach you life lessons, because there are people being like, oh my God. And they also think like, oh, if you're like this in the game, then you must be a piece of shit in real life. It's like, bro, it's a game. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how a game could inform like your real life morality choices that you would do. Because it's like, even last night, I think me and Gopher were playing, and we were coming up on a team that was extracting. And we downed one of them, and we're like, come on, let's get in there. We need to kill him before he starts the machine. And we get in there, and he's crawling to the lever to activate it to return to Speranza. And we're about to unload on him and kill him when his teammate runs in there holding a trigger nade and starts running around us in circles. He's like, you better not do what I think you're doing. You better not do, and I'm just like, me and Gopher are just, all right, well, he basically is just playing chicken with us because he's got a trigger nade in his hands. And if we just try to shoot this guy, he's going to throw it on us and kill us. I'm like, all right, well, I guess we're extracting with this guy. But we were about to be the devil. Like, the guy was extracting. We downed him. We were running in there to kill him before he could escape. But the tables were turned because his teammate came in there like a suicide bomber and was like, you better not. And I was like, yeah, I guess. Yeah. Good times.
Right. I really do wonder if like the one thing I think, like, I don't think every game on Earth should become extraction, but proximity chat really does seem to be an X factor for a lot of games these days. There's another game that's going, it's like semi-viral on PC. I can't remember what it's called now. And it's like, it's set in the American Revolutionary War with like British redcoats and stuff. And like everyone, it's the proximity chat in the game, but it's more like Battlefield, but like the Revolutionary War. So you got like redcoats and shit, fighting the traitorous American dogs who deserve to be put down and brought back into the Empire. And but everyone's like role playing, pretending to be like British and stuff like that, or Yankees or whatever it is. And it just seems like a jolly old time, I do wonder, like, what other games could benefit from this kind of technology? It's not even like a modern thing. It just seems to have become more popular because of the clip culture we have now.
Mm-hmm.
Like the ability to capture the reaction of the person you're murdering makes for great content. I've seen like so many funny clips of I still haven't played it myself, but I've seen so many funny clips of Arc Raiders. I saw one last night where a guy got downed by a troll like you, right, in the extraction zone, but he received instant karma because some robot came up, blew him up, and downed him as well. But it blew his body
outside
just beyond the door. So the guy who was being murdered, he got to extract, and the guy who did the murdering got blasted out of the door. Instant karma. That kind of chaos is just hilarious. And then the guy like yelling on the mic and stuff like that. I suppose Rust has it as well. DayZ has it. A lot of these sort of older games kind of pioneered this stuff. I think Sea of Thieves has it.
I think Black Ops 6 had it, or one of the recent versions of Warzone.
Yeah,
had that stuff, but it does add a lot to it. A lot of unpredictability. I mean, that's what you add with the PvP element, which is why I don't understand why people want the PvE stuff. Because if it was just PvE, the game would be boring. It's the PvP element, the unpredictability of human nature is what makes the game tense.
Helldivers is PvE, right?
Helldivers is PvE. I saw the other report that
people should go and play that. If they
that,
want that experience, then Helldivers is right there.
I saw another report, I think it was from Christopher Dring, that said since the launch of Arc Raiders, Helldivers 2 has lost like 60% of its audience. So,
well, you know, a lot of games like this aren't supposed to live forever. I mean, they just announced a big new update for Warhammer Darktide, you know. And Warhammer 40k Darktide is like, it's not exactly a huge game. It's not got hundreds of thousands of players. It's got tens of thousands of players. But there's enough there for them to have a viable business model and keep updating it and keep that, you know, small community happy. Like, I think there is a bit of a toxic culture with regards to Steam stats right now, where everyone's like, oh, this game's lost 90% of its player base. Like, people always point to Palworld when it went hyper viral and then fell off into just sort of like a sustainable, ongoing kind of normal business model. And people obsess over that stuff, forgetting that small games can exist too, you know. I've been playing, you know what I've been playing nonstop all week?
what?
Nintendo DS game.
Yeah.
I've been playing Monster Hunter Stories on Xbox all week. 70 hours in so far. And you know what, Rand?
What?
It's my game of the year, bro.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Monster Hunter Stories 1 is my game of the year on Xbox. The game of the year, bro.
Well, what game came out this year?
Monster Hunter Stories for Xbox.
No. That released... How long ago did that release?
A few weeks.
No. When did it originally release?
10, 15 years ago.
All right, well, so it can't be game of the year then.
It can, because it's
got to be a
Xbox
game.
version.
It's got to be a game that released this year.
Okay. It's the Xbox version released this year for the first time.
Doesn't matter. Got to be a game that released this year.
No. It's my Xbox game of the year.
That's just sad.
So the original. Let me find the original version launched 10 years ago, 2015 on the Nintendo DS, and then it was later released on Android, and now it's released on Xbox for the first time. So Monster Hunter Stories Xbox Edition is a new game. Ergo, my game of the year.
All right, moving on.
There you go.
Moving on. We're not talking about that.
What?
We ain't talking about
monster games I like.
Well, because you like crappy games.
What? It's
World of Warcraft.
It's awesome.
15-year-old Monster Hunter Stories.
The story is so good. The story in Monster Hunter Stories is better than Expedition 33.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, I'm not even joking, bro. I'm not even joking. It's emotional. People die. Yeah, it's really sad sometimes.
You know what's really sad?
And it's got moral lessons.
Someone look up Jez's stats and see if he's actually played it for 70 hours.
Yeah, look me up. Look me up, bro. Do it.
Yeah. Someone look him up. Tell me if Jez is telling a fib. Because sometimes he likes to over exaggerate. He's probably played the game.
I've exaggerated slightly.
Yeah, he's probably played the game for 5 hours.
No, it's I've played it for 37 hours, 37.5 hours.
So why'd you double it up? Why'd you go from 37 to 72? You literally doubled your time.
I don't know. I
don't know. I don't know why I lie. I just like telling fibs.
I thought I must have looked at. I must have saw another game that was 70 hours. But bro, 37 hours is a lot for 1 week. I've not really played anything else.
All right.
It's game of the year, bro. Game of the year.
Let's talk about the partner preview, shall we? Oh, we got another super chat here. We got Big Afroman that says, "What do you guys think about Moore's Law's comment saying Xbox didn't think ahead and will have to raise prices again from RAM storage? P.S. Keep it up." I mean, we sort of already talked about it.
Yeah, we did a bit.
I mean, he says that Microsoft didn't think about it. I mean, if that's the case, well then, I guess it goes in line with the other person that said Microsoft and thinking in the same sentence don't belong together. So I guess that's part of the danger of essentially making hardware made to order and not really having a big stockpile, that you're going to be more affected by fluctuations in price based on the components. So
Yeah, and it's the OEM behavior. You know, it's like what Asus said at their presentation, where they're like, "Yeah, we misjudged demand for the Xbox Ally X, you know, but we're trying to get more stock out there and stuff like that." Because they are basically trying to make them to demand. They don't want to sit on any stock, and that's kind of where Microsoft's moved to. It's sort of like more of an OEM mentality rather than traditional console mentality, where you sit on tons of stock and then you know you compete for sales and things like that. But Microsoft now, like the way they look at it is PlayStation's Black Friday sale benefits us because more people will buy Forza. That's kind of like the simplified way of the way they're looking at it. They just don't care about beating PlayStation anymore. They're just gonna make sure that they're gonna always sell that stuff at a profit, you know. And it sucks for people who like want to feel like Xbox is winning or something, but that's not what Microsoft's doing anymore. They consider wherever they sell their games to be their install base now. Business. But for right or wrongly, that's what they think. For better or worse.
for better or worse. So Xbox held their partner preview on Thursday. And what'd you think of it, Jez? What's your overall thoughts about the partner preview?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like I liked every game they showed pretty much. I mean, even like the indie stuff, like Erosion. I thought Erosion looked fantastic. Kind of like Hades-ish, but more of a shooter, but with all the environmental destruction and then sort of choice and consequence with time travel. It looked awesome. Just looked really interesting. It's from the developers of the what's it called? Benedict Fox or whatever it's called. So yeah, I thought that looked really good. And then obviously there was some really heavy hitters there, like Tides of Annihilation, I think it was called. That looked really good.
Yeah. Well, the big thing about it was I think every game shown there was going to be Xbox Play Anywhere, right?
Yeah,
Which
really
is
pushing that
the
hard.
big initiative that they're pushing now, and a bunch of games are also going to be on Xbox Game Pass. So the games that were at the show was they had a new trailer for 007 First Light, which is coming out in March. They had a trailer for the Aston Martin. Really looking forward to that game. Ion Interactive was there with something else. It was World. I don't know if you could even have this on your bingo card at any point in time, but a World of Assassination Hitman exclusive target, Slim Shady. Eminem versus Slim Shady.
That was,
which is
yeah,
okay.
Initially I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But then I saw it was like some weird sci-fi thing where Eminem and Slim Shady both exist at the same time, and I thought it was more like, oh, you're playing like Eminem's security guard.
Agent 47 has been hired by Eminem himself to do the job. Slim Shady has become completely separate from the rapper, and he's a danger to his creator. So
yeah, that's some weird fantasy bullshit, which doesn't really match the Hitman universe to me. If it was like, oh, like you're a celebrity, you're trying to stop Slim Shady being assassinated by someone or something like that, I first thought, oh wow, that's really cool. Like have a celebrity, and you've got to stop him from being assassinated, or you know, conversely, assassinate the celebrity. I don't know. I think that would have been cool, but like this weird fucking, you know, Slim Shady and Eminem are two separate people. I think that's kind of corny and weird, but I don't know. It's fun, I guess. That's what the kids want these days: is these celebrities and slop, right? Is what
we had a spin-off announced called Vampire Crawlers, the Turbo Wildcard from Vampire Crawlers, the Turbo Wildcard from Vampire Survivors, coming next year, which is a brand new roguelike deck builder. Which I don't know. What did you think about this?
I thought that looked fantastic. I know Gembox 360 was very happy on the back of that news. I thought that looked really good. Obviously, Vampire Survivors is fantastic. I had a tattoo done recently, and I couldn't use both hands because I was getting my tattoo on one hand, obviously. So I was rocking Vampire Survivors on my phone with xCloud because you can play it with one hand, you know. So Vampire Survivors comes in clutch in those moments. So yeah, very cool.
Dave the Diver finally making its way to Xbox. Was a shadow drop, came out that day. One. Yeah, because it's been on every platform. So Xbox is the last platform to come to. So that's available now. Reanimal release date announcement. February 13, 2026 from the developers of Little Nightmares 1 and 2, Tarsier Studios, which, after playing Little Nightmares 3, that handed off to Supermassive Games that I didn't really like very much. I am very much looking forward to this game. I think it looks really cool. So, I guess February 13th is, I know what I'm playing. Another, I don't know. I think they're a really talented developer, and after the sour taste that Little Nightmares 3 left in my mouth, I can't wait to wash it out with Reanimal, because I think it's going to be really cool. We got a sequel announcement, Raji Kaliyugma, which is a sequel to Raj, an Ancient Epic, I think, right?
Yeah.
This game excused the isometric style of an Ancient Epic in favor of full third-person perspective.
Yeah.
It will feature dual protagonists, with Raj now joined by her younger brother Darsh. Set 6 years after the events of the first, players will control them both in different parts of the stories. Look cool.
Yeah, look pretty good. Obviously, India is a pretty big growth potential market for Microsoft. If Microsoft can't penetrate China because of the military contracts that Microsoft's got, India could be a good alternative. India is the 7th biggest gaming spend market in the world and one of the fastest growing, and they just launched xCloud there. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of impact that has on Microsoft's cloud ambitions. So I expect to see more games from India like that.
Artemis was next up, which is a new roguelike shooter from the Godfall developer Counterplay Games.
That looked pretty good too.
It's all right. Gothic horror inspired title.
Yeah.
Echo Generation 2, a game. I think I played Echo Generation. I'm not sure if I played this one. I'm pretty sure I played Echo Generation. I would never thought we'd see an Echo Generation 2, but so
I'm not surprised. I think Ravenlock didn't do that well for them. Maybe.
Or maybe I played Ravenlock, or maybe I played Ravenlock and not Echo Generation. I forget. I played one of those two.
Yeah, I played Ravenlock. I couldn't stand it. I thought it was really poor, to be honest. But I played a bit of Echo Generation, but I think there was just too much other stuff out at the time that I just didn't really play enough of it. Maybe. But maybe I'll go back to Echo Generation at some point. I'm kind of on a turn-based kick at the moment, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah.
I've been turn-based is really good for when you're multitasking. So Monster Hunter Stories, Final Fantasy Tactics, lots of other stuff like that. So Echo Generation might be a good fit for that.
We have Erosion, which I think is a game you already mentioned, right?
Yeah, Erosion.
Yeah.
So
Erosion is a new isometric action game with a unique mechanic. Every time players die, they respawn a decade later. During that time, the Western-inspired world will go through changes and characters will age, upping the stakes to complete the mission. Sounds cool. And who'd you say it was made by?
Plot Twist, the developers of what's it called? The Last Investigation of Benedict Fox.
Something like that. Which is a game I still have yet to play. We did also get another Shadow Drop. This time a day one Game Pass Shadow Drop. Total Chaos, survival horror game from the Turbo Overkill developer Trigger Happy Interactive. I watched the trailer and I was like, "Whoo, that kind of looks cool." But then I heard it's like crafting and roguelike stuff. I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah. You love crafting, bro.
No, I don't.
Don't you craft in what's it called?
You don't even
Arc Riders?
I mean, there's crafting in Arc Raiders in the sense that to make stuff
There you go. You love crafting.
Yeah, but you also just take them from dead people. It's not crafting in the sense that like this. But anyways, I thought the trailer did look pretty cool. I don't know if I'll ever play the game, but I don't know. Some of the dark, horror-y, evil-looking game. I don't know. That showed up. Clover Pit. A demonic slot machine roguelite. Why is everything roguelite? Everybody loves roguelites. It's like all these games.
I've been playing Clover Pit, man.
If it's not roguelite, it's a Souls game, you know.
Yeah, I suppose like it's pretty easy to make a repeatable gameplay loop if you're like a small or solo dev. I've been playing Clover Pit. It's really really addictive. You know, it's one of them. You know, much
I
like
think
a
it
real
also
life
was
slot
what
machine.
another shadow drop that was available on Game Pass, right? Clover Pit.
Yeah, Game Pass, Cloud. It's obviously perfect game for Cloud. Low poly. It's like a horror slot machine game. If you fail, you die. You know, so you know, and there's like some kind of vague story going on. It's kind of I think it's inspired by that horror Russian roulette game with the shotgun. Can't remember the name of it. But yeah, it's quite fun. I like it.
Crownsorn, or Crowsorn, Metroidvania from the Mongoose Radio got a new gameplay trailer during the partner preview, highlighting more of its stylish traversal and combat style. Look cool. The Mound Omen of Cthulhu trailer was a upcoming co-op horror game from Ace Team developer behind Clash Artifacts of Chaos. Roadside Research, Tides of Annihilation trailer, which I thought looked really nice. I did notice that they have Jennifer English, who did Mayel, the voice for Mayel in Expedition 33, voices the main character. And even the main character kind of looks like her. Like they used her facial features to kind of sculpt the main character to somewhat resemble her. Takes place in a version of London overrun with otherworldly enemies. It sounds... Jez, are you okay with
it's set in London?
Yeah, it says the set takes place in another version of London. So you'll feel right at home.
No, it won't, because I'm not from fucking London, mate.
Oh, okay. And
I'm from the north.
The last game that was shown off here was Zoopunk, which I thought looked awesome.
Yeah, but there was some controversy about that game.
Controversy? What was it? What is the controversy for this?
Well, people thought this looks like AI. And
really?
They were listening to listening to the dialogue and being like, the dialogue sounds jittery like AI. Like, this might be AI. So the developers actually came out and they were like, no, not if it's AI. However, we are going to have user-generated content which people can use AI to create weapon skins or something like that. But the game itself doesn't use AI. It's interesting that people are like looking so hard for AI these days. Like, I've been accused of using AI just because I use EM dashes. I use an EM dash. I've always used EM dash. You can go back to look at my articles from like even before OpenAI existed. I love an EM dash. I love a good EM dash. And yeah, but apparently EM dash is the sign of AI now. I refuse to give up my EM dash for Sam Altman. So yeah. But everything's been accused of AI, even when it's not now. But hey, maybe they're lying. Maybe it is AI. We just don't even know anymore, bro. Don't even know.
Yeah, it's also set in the same universe as Fist. Forged in Shadow Torch. So, supposed to be coming sometime in 2027, so it's still some years away.
Oh, it's quite far off.
Yeah. But it did look pretty cool. So that was the partner preview.
Oh, yeah. I know why you think it looks pretty cool.
Why?
We established this on the previous episode, that you're a furry.
Oh, we didn't establish anything on a previous episode.
No, we did. We found out you were a furry, and that's why you like Zoopunk. I should have known that, yeah.
When have we ever talked about furries, Jez, on this podcast? We have never talked about it.
Bro, you can't even remember.
No, I do remember. Unfortunately, my memory is really good. Are you sure you're misremembering?
No, I remember distinctly. At chat, we talked about this, didn't we?
Didn't you talk about this with Gaz on his podcast?
Oh.
It's not on this podcast, Gaz. I would shut you down.
Okay,
you're just trying to spread misinformation. Right. Trying to tell me that I don't remember. Please.
Yeah, okay. I talked about it with Gaz. Me and Gaz established that you're a furry. My bad.
No, Gaz said that you just made it up. He didn't agree with you in any way.
No, he did. He agreed with me.
No, he didn't, because I talked to him. He said that you were trying to push this agenda that I was a furry.
can't even remember why we were pushing this agenda.
Because you just love making stuff up about me.
But I was a little bit drunk on that podcast, I admit. But I feel like I had good evidence for this.
Then what? Do you remember what your evidence was? Present
I
it to
do
the
not.
court. Present it to the universe. Let them decide. Is Rand
I do
a
not
furry?
remember. I do not remember what the evidence was, but I rest my case. You like Zoopunk, and I bet you like Zootopia as well.
Mm.
You like Zootopia, the movie?
Never seen it.
Bullshit. I don't
Man,
know.
your arguments are just falling by the wayside now. People would present it, Mr. Prosecutor. In what ways? Well, what have I ever given off a furry vibe before?
I don't know. I need to gather my evidence, and I'll get back to you on
Okay, next week I guess you can present your evidence about why you think I'm a furry.
Damn right.
Damn right. Jez, Sarah Bond's out here talking again. You know, talking about hardware again. Is this the third time she's talked about new upcoming Xbox hardware? Is she tripled down on all this stuff?
Yeah, do you think they're feeling a little bit sensitive about the narratives flying around?
Yeah. She said a whole bunch of stuff about Xbox and
It was
stuff.
a lot of it was about her career.
Yeah.
And also like, you know, the challenges and stuff like that. But she did have a couple of things to say about hardware. Do you have
she says, I got your quotes from the Windows Central article here. She said, hardware is absolutely core to everything we do at Xbox because we know that our most valuable players, the people who love Xbox, love the hardware experience. That is why we are working on our next generation hardware. It's going to be a powerful experience and one that also enables people to take their library with them. What's really important here is that while people want to play their library on console, they also want to be able to play it on PC or stream it through the cloud. The Xbox experience starts with the console, but then gives people something they can experience across all screens if they choose to, bring in their library, their community, their identity, and the store with them everywhere they go. So, yeah, I mean that's another tripling down of them doing hardware moving forward. And she's done a couple interviews recently where she is asked about this, and she says basically we are doing this stuff because there was, I think it's all based off of like, I think was it in October where it was like 3 weekends in a row some rumor came out that really was painted Xbox as dying or dead. Like it was the Costco, Sam's Club hardware being pulled that basically said all the retailers are going to pull it, and then Microsoft came out and said they weren't. Then it was Sneakers SO who came out and said, hey, you know, hardware is up in the air, they may not do this stuff. And then other people came out and said, actually, hardware has been canceled, it's over. And that kind of went around for the weekend. And then since then, we've had, I think Sarah Bond mentioned new hardware 3 times in 3 different interviews. I think Phil's even talked about it. So, you know, remember I always said, like, maybe Xbox should shut up and just let their actions speak for themselves instead of constantly talking, because it always seemed recently that Phil or somebody would say something and then the complete opposite would happen months down the road. Well, you know, Sarah, they at least seem to be pretty certain about the hardware stuff, but I say that, you know, who knows what the future holds, but I've always said that I think the new hardware will come out, because I don't think they can just cancel it. This isn't like the handheld where it was like, actually, we'd rather do this. It's like the hardware is still pretty important right now. So I never believed that they would actually get rid of it. And it seems like the way they talk about it, you know, it's going to come out, you know, so I don't know. It's one of those things where you're just like, how about you just go away for a bit, and the next time you talk about the hardware, you can actually show the hardware, you know?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of these interviews, you have to look at where they were put. Like, so this interview was put in Fortune, not in IGN.
Right.
These were kind of for shareholders more than us, I think.
Okay.
So I I mean, that's my semi-expectation. I mean, Xbox PR never... Usually when there's like an interview that's gamer-oriented, Xbox PR will be like, hey, check out this interview. You might want to write a story about it. Xbox PR never mentioned this interview to me at all. So I kind of feel like they were intending for this more to be, to be a signal for the business people. Because as we know, Microsoft share price now being, what, $450 or something like that, ridiculously high. Then more and more, everything they do now is shareholder first. Back in the day when their share price was worth jack shit and nobody invested in them, they were kind of less beholden to shareholders and they could do a little bit more just cool stuff like Surface, Microsoft Band. But now, like, they're such a shareholder-driven company now. Everything they do is sort of has to revolve around ye old shareholders, better or worse. Mostly worse, I think. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it all goes down. Obviously, there's a big question mark over this whole strategy. I'm choosing to be optimistic, but they've got to do a lot of stuff to get Windows feeling like a console. Because, even just yesterday, what game did I install? I can't remember what I installed. I installed a game yesterday on my ROG Ally, and I got a pop-up that was like, do you want to allow random string of text to pass through the firewall? I know what that means as someone who actively uses Windows, but if you're like a regular, normal person who doesn't PC game very much, and you come in from the Xbox One or something, you're going to see that and think like, oh, what the hell does this mean? Should I click yes? Should I click no? Is it going to blow up my computer if I do? And you click no, and then the game doesn't install. It doesn't tell you why the game hasn't installed. It just evaporates. Those like user account control pop-ups and Windows Firewall pop-ups are so dumb and so user unfriendly. I think like Microsoft itself takes it for granted how unobvious they are, what they are for. Like Android doesn't have those, iOS doesn't have those, obviously console doesn't have those. So why does Windows have those? Why does Windows have those for games? I have no idea. I have literally no idea. And they don't explain to you what it's for. And yeah, they don't explain to you the consequences for turning it on or off. So it's just all those little things, those little underlying issues with Windows. They need to solve all of it. And the problem is, I worry that they take as power, because they're all power users of Windows, programmers and engineers and stuff like that. I worry that they take for granted how bad Windows is. They're just sitting there like, oh, that's just Windows things. That's just the way Windows is. And I'm worried they won't realize that all that little minutia has to be fixed, because otherwise it's just annoying bullshit. I don't know. But we'll see what happens. They've got a couple of years to fix it. I'm choosing to be optimistic now, but maybe I'm naive, Rand.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm naive, because I know, like, I'll accept it as someone who plays a lot of PC games, but I know you won't accept it because you use your 5090 as a doorstop.
I don't have a 5090.
What do you have? 4090?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you use your 4090 as a doorstop. So
I mean, I'll use it for a Half-Life 3 for sure.
And furry games.
No, not at all.
Yep.
Not at all,
Yep.
Jez.
Yep. Have you seen that that really popular Steam game with the horse girls?
No.
What's it called?
Have you seen it? Do you know about this?
Yeah, of course I know about it.
Are you sure you're not just projecting?
No, I'm just well informed, Rand.
Is that what we're calling it now? You're just well informed.
Well, they're not horses like furry. They're like they're anime girls who represent horses. They're not exactly horses.
I think you're projecting.
It's Love Boat Gopher in chat knows.
Gopher knows? Of course Gopher would know.
Yeah, because Gopher's well informed, man. That's not anything bad. Why do you have to slander people, Rand? You just
no. I'm just. What do you mean? Gopher's my friend. We play Arc Raiders every night. What are we playing Arc Raiders tonight, Gopher? You better be on.
Yeah, no, but
see, the thing with Gopher,
you're slandering him over the horse girl.
It's just saying. When you said that, in my mind, I'm like, Gopher's gonna know what this is. I'll ask him later, and here he is already. in the chat and he already knows what it is. See, that's how well I know Gopher. So Gopher, what time are we playing tonight? Because the thing, I would love to play more Arc Raiders, but Gopher gets on at like 10 p.m. and then he's like, gotta go, and it's midnight. He's gotta go. I gotta, and I'm just like, what happened to the days of we get on at 8 o'clock and play to 2 a.m. for PUBG, Gopher? Remember those days? Why can't we have a return of that?
He's playing the horse girl game.
It's not fair.
I can't even pronounce it. What is it? Umamusume.
Umamusume. Pretty
Umamusume? Is that correct? Is that correct pronunciation? Umamusume?
Maybe.
I hope so. But yeah, Rand, you'll get games like, my point was, you'll get games like that on the next Xbox thanks to Steam, bro.
Oh, wonderful. It's exactly what I wanted. It's exactly what I wanted. The one thing that we didn't have enough of on Xbox was horse furry games. That's exactly what we're going to be able to get next time. It's amazing.
I mean, do you hate diversity, Rand?
No.
Do you not want to have variety on your console? That's what you get is variety.
There's like 7,000 games on the console. There's plenty of diversity there. Have you played them?
Oh, actually, Rand, let me ask you this. Okay. Here's something we haven't really discussed. It's adjacently relevant.
Adjacently. Okay. I wonder what's adjacently relevant to a furry game about horses on Steam. Okay. Go ahead.
If the next Xbox is a PC,
sure.
When Steam allows full-blown Gooner games.
Full-blown Gooner games, okay.
Does Xbox also have to offer full-blown Gooner games to compete?
No, I don't think so.
No?
No. I guess the question is like, the question is, do you think Xbox will change their restrictions, so to speak, their content restrictions, and be more open and be more open like Steam? No, I don't think they would.
Because what you could do is you could have a new tier of Game Pass called Goon Pass.
Goon Pass, okay.
Goon Pass.
And what are we putting in Goon Pass?
The Horse Girl game. Shit like that, bro.
Yeah.
Stellar Blade. Fucking the hentai mods. I don't know. Goon Pass. Let's do it. Maybe this is the only way to hit Satya Nadella's 100 billion users is to have Goon Pass.
Something tells me that's not going to happen, Jez. Although you should pitch it to people at Xbox, see what they think.
I will, bro.
Mm-hmm. Realistically, not for just a laugh, but be like, how realistic is this? And see how they look at you and what they say to you.
Would you subscribe to Xbox Goon Pass?
No, I wouldn't subscribe to Goon Pass. I'm sorry.
Like, what do you think's the appropriate price for Goon Pass? It's got to be $6.99, right? $6.99.
$69.
Like 69, yeah.
Where you can get all the Goon games that you desire.
Oh, how did this get so juvenile?
I mean, you made it juvenile. What are you talking about?
Goon Pass.
It had nothing to do with me. It had nothing to do with me. I'm sitting over here all innocent, and you're talking about horse games on Steam and furries and stuff. Like you're the issue. You're the problem.
I've got a fever, so
a fever for gooning.
A fever for viruses in my brain. I don't know.
Yes, we make sure everybody gotta be nice to Jez because his brain's not working right.
Does it ever though? Does it ever?
So let's talk about the Game Award nominees, Jez. Shall we?
Let's do that.
We got Claire Obscure is up for 12 awards, making it the most nominated game in awards history. Which is kind of crazy. Followed by PlayStation titles Death Stranding 2 on the Beach and Ghost of the Yotai with 8 nominations each, and Hades 2 with 6. Sony is the Game Awards most nominated publisher in 2014 with 19 nominations. Kepler Interactive has 10 nominations, and Microsoft and Electronic Arts have 10 each. So I figure we go through some of the categories just to see what you think and what might win. We'll go for most anticipated game. 007 First Light, Marvel's Wolverine, Resident Evil Requiem, Witcher 4, or Grand Theft Auto 6? Which one? It's funny
Wait, say that
because
again.
007 First Light, Grand Theft Auto 6, Marvel's Wolverine, Resident Evil Requiem, The Witcher 4. No
What's that
Halo,
for?
no
Most
Fable,
anticipated?
no Gears E-Day, no Forza Right. Yeah, most anticipated game. I mean,
Witcher 4 has a release date?
what does? No, it doesn't. But I mean, they announced the game.
Oh. So all it needs to do is announce the game. Well, first
I
of
don't
all,
know.
Halo CE, why would you nominate that when it's a remake?
Sure.
Second of all, Gears E-Day, we haven't seen a sliver about it. So I don't think you
Haven't
can
we
really...
seen as much as we've seen of The Witcher 4?
Yeah, but The Witcher is The Witcher, bro.
Okay. Well, it doesn't really matter because Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to win that, right?
Forza has to pay the
But
racing game tax. Racing games never win awards. Much like Shroud says, multiplayer games never win awards.
Except that
You
one
seen
year
that old drama?
in Overwatch 2016.
Yeah, but Overwatch is like on another level. Like
True.
you talk about Arc Raiders being good and stuff like that. It's like there's no game better than Overwatch, bro. Multiplayer. I mean, you just can't beat Overwatch, bro. Or you can put Overwatch in Game Pass, actually.
Best adaptation: a Minecraft movie, Devil May Cry, Last of Us Season 2, Splinter Cell, Death Watch, and Until Dawn. Until Dawn was trash. I don't even know why it's even here. I don't know why Sonic 3 is not included in this. Sonic 3 was actually a good movie.
Wait, why is Until Dawn there but not Sonic then?
I don't know. That's the question. Until Dawn was trash.
Judges are not the judges. What are they playing at, bro?
Last of Us is most likely going to win
What are they
that.
playing at, bro?
Splinter Cell Death Watch was actually a good time. So was Devil May Cry. Best multiplayer: Arc Raiders, Battlefield 6, Elden Ring, Night Rain, Peak, and Split Fiction. I would imagine with all the love for Arc Raiders, it probably stands a good chance. But then Battlefield 6 being the biggest selling game of the year, that might it might put up a good battle. I don't know. I don't really think any of the other ones really can compete. Yeah, I guess Night Rain maybe could, but I'm gonna skip some of these because I don't really care. Like best sim strategy, who cares, right, Jez? Nobody cares.
No, I want to know.
Oh, you want to know? The Altiers, Final Fantasy Tactics, Jurassic.
Altiers?
Altiers was nominated for best sim strategy. Alters. Okay, whatever. Jurassic World Evolution 3, Sid Meier's Civilization 7, Tempest Rising, and 2 Point Museum. What do you think? Alters?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Altiers. Before the show, guys, like Rand was mispronouncing.
No. You
French as well.
I wasn't saying French. I was saying Spanish. And
Now,
you
French,
thought
bro.
I was saying something French, and you made fun of me, and I said no, it's this, and then I humbled you. So.
Yeah, well, I enjoy it. It doesn't happen often.
So best RPG, we have Obsidian with 2 nominations: Avowed, Expedition 33, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, The Outer Worlds 2, and Monster Hunter Wilds for best RPG.
I had a bit of a salt tweet about Monster Hunter Wilds being nominated.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like there were so many like indie RPGs that came out this year that probably deserved more of a look in than Monster Hunter Worlds. And I don't know if that's just me being salty about Monster Hunter Wilds not living up to my expectations or whatever, but the game just genuinely was hollow, especially as an RPG. Like, I feel like in an RPG, like gear should matter, upgrading should matter, the story should matter, all that kind of stuff. None of it mattered in Wilds. It was a hollow game. And then you had all the performance issues on PC and then all the other bullshit that went along with it. I was just like, there has to have been an indie game that deserved it more than this. And I say this as someone with a Monster Hunter tattoo, so this isn't me just being a hater. So, I don't know.
I mean, if I had to guess, Expedition 33 is going to win. It's one of those things where if you think it's going to win best game, then it has to win like best RPG, right? Because how could it be
I
best
really
game and
think
not also? But I guess maybe they could give it to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and say Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a better RPG than Expedition 33, but Expedition 33 is a better game. You know?
you know what I think they should do. I
What?
think they should reduce the amount of weight that game journalists have on these awards
Mm,
and give more power to the people.
okay.
Because I can guarantee that if you didn't just have a narrow band of game journalists and content creators voting on this shit, they would look a lot different in a good way.
What do you think would be nominated instead?
I don't know, but I just think you'd have a lot more. It's like you said this last year. You basically predicted every single award last year
Of course.
because you just know what they're all going to talk about.
For
Games like multiplayer games never get a look in. You also have got like honestly, there are games that like we don't care about that are huge. Do they not even deserve to have an opportunity? Like I'm talking about like, gacha games or indeed horse girl games. And they would never get a look in under this current system. That was like one of the biggest games that released, bro. So I don't know. I think maybe there's a better way of doing this shit, bro.
I had Game of the Year. I had 5 of the nominees. Like basically almost like when Silk Song was announced this year, and Hades 2 came out because we weren't sure. I basically had the whole list. The only thing that surprised me was Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Because I had Split Fiction in that spot, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 took it. But other than that, like 5 of the other spots were basically just easy to predict. It's nice to see Obsidian there with 2 games, even though I don't think either of them stand a chance of winning.
No.
They're definitely, it's nice to see Obsidian's work being rewarded. Best Action Adventure, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotai, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Hollow Knight, Silk Song, and Split Fiction. That's a tough 5 games right there.
Death Stranding's gonna win that, surely.
I don't know. You sure Hollow Knight won't win?
Kojima's gonna Kojima, bro.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I had to choose from the ones here, I probably would pick Indiana Jones. I think the problem with Indiana Jones is it came out in December. Yeah, well, over Death Stranding. I think in my mind, Indiana Jones, Death Stranding 2, I think I probably have them rated roughly similar footing. But there was a point with Death Stranding about like halfway through the game where I did stop doing everything in the game, like because I was going through and leveling up all the different outposts, and I stopped doing that like halfway through, and I just was like, I'm just gonna beat the game now. That never happened with Indiana Jones. Granted, Indiana Jones was not the same length. I was doing all the side missions and everything, but I never really wanted Indiana Jones to end, and with Death Stranding 2, the end couldn't come soon enough. You know what I mean? Because I had burned myself out on doing everything in Death Stranding 2, and I'm like, I want this game to be over. I want to see how everything concludes. Where with Indiana Jones, it was like I could go for more side missions, which is why like when the DLC came out, I was on it right away. So that's kind of why, in my estimation, I would put Indiana Jones over it. Split Fiction, I don't know. I see that as more of a like co-op game, not really best action adventure. So that's why I would have it further. But if I were to guess who the jury would pick, I think you're right. I think Death Stranding 2. Well, actually, I think Ghost of Yotai stands a pretty good chance too. I think it's one of those 2 games though.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think Kojima will Kojima, and they'll reward him with this. Best action game, Battlefield 6, Doom: The Dark Ages, Hades 2, Ninja Gaiden 4, and Shinobi Art of Vengeance. So another 2 Xbox games nominated here. So basically, you got Obsidian with 2 for RPGs. You got Machine Games for Indiana Jones and Best Action Adventure. And you got Doom from id and Ninja Gaiden 4 from Platinum. That's a lot of different nominations there for Xbox in that sense. But what do you think? What do you think wins the best action category here, Jez?
What are the nominees again? I've forgotten.
Battlefield 6, Doom, Hades 2, Ninja Gaiden 4, Shinobi.
I think this is one Battlefield probably has a good chance of winning.
Yeah. It probably does. I mean, if it was my choice, I'd pick Shinobi. I haven't played Hades 2, so tough to say if I would like Hades 2 more. But I love Shinobi, and I haven't really played much of Battlefield 6 at all. So, my perspective might be skewed there. I did like Doom more than Ninja Gaiden 4. So if I were to choose between those, it'd be Doom. But I'll choose Shinobi on this one. But I think it's tough, Jez, because a part
Hades
of me
is really popular with game journalists.
That's what I'm thinking. Is part of me best action? I would not be surprised if Hades 2 won this one.
I think Hades wins that one.
Because best multiplayer, you would think Arc Raiders would be how much hype behind it, but then we just talked about how successful Battlefield 6 was, so it definitely could be that. Best mobile game, Destiny Rising, Persona 5, The Phantom X, Sonic Rumble, Utsumanti Pretty Derby. Isn't that the game that you were just talking about?
Yeah.
It's nominated
it was
for
nominated.
It's nominated for
fair
best
play.
mobile game. Okay.
I didn't even know it was on mobile.
Neither did I. I don't even know what to win there. I haven't even heard of half these games. Best debut indie game, Blueprints, Expedition 33, Dispatch, Megabonk, which I believe the creator of Megabonk pulled himself from the nominations because he's not an indie game, or he's not an indie developer, or it was not his debut game.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of hype surrounding Dispatch. I mean, but there was a lot of hype for Blueprints at the beginning of the year. But then there's the juggernaut that I think there's a good chance Expedition 33 just waltzes through all these awards and wins.
Yeah, probably.
Best indie game, Absalom, Ball X Pit, Blueprints, Expedition 33, Hades 2, and Hollow Knight. I mean, that's a pretty tough category. I mean, depending on how strong the sweep is for Expedition 33, it could be that. But, I mean, there's a lot of hype surrounding Ball X Pit, Silksong, Hades 2. I guess it could be any of those, really.
Silksong's got to take something. There was so much hype around that game this year.
Yeah, I mean, it could, like I said, it could take indie game. It could take action game. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't get anything. Something's going to be left out. Best ongoing, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, Marvel Rivals, and No Man's Sky. I don't know if Fortnite probably wins that. Maybe Helldivers 2. Games for Impact, Consume Me, Despolate, Lost Records, Bloom and Raid, South of Midnight, and Wanderstop.
I ain't even heard of those.
Yeah, I don't know which one would win
Well,
there.
I've heard of South of Midnight.
Well, I've played Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, so... It's funny because you go to best scored music, you have Hollow Knight, Hades 2, Expedition 33, Ghost of Yotai, and Death Stranding 2. But a lot of people will be like, "Where's South of Midnight on there with the music and the score that they made for that game?" Just
was it good?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the best things of South of Midnight. This one's going to be tough. Best performance. 3 people from Expedition 33, Jez. So you have Ben Starr, who plays Verso, Charlie Cox, who plays Gustav, Jennifer English, who plays Mael, and then Erika Ishii from Ghost of Yotai, Kanatsu Kato from Silent Hill F, and Troy Baker for Indiana Jones.
Oh, come on. That's surely Troy Baker, isn't it?
I mean, the thing I'm thinking was, if all 3 characters and people here in Expedition 33 all split the vote, and then it falls to somebody else, because you can legitimately make an argument that Ben Starr should win for Verso, or Charlie Cox should win for Gustav, or Jennifer English should win for Mael, which she just won, I believe, in the Golden Joystick Awards today for best performance. I think that was today. So you would think Troy Baker maybe could sneak in if all these other people here split the vote. But if you're, and honestly, part of the reason why Indiana Jones works as well as it does is because of Troy Baker, because he does sound just like Harrison Ford, and it makes you, the fantasy of being Indiana Jones works because he's so good, right?
It only works because of that.
Okay, well,
if he sounded nothing like him, then it would
sure.
be really weird. Or you'd have to do like they'd have to do like a really really young indie or something if it didn't sound like him. But it's classic indie. Do you remember it? Surely he has to win that.
I don't think he will. I think it's going to be Jennifer English or Ben
Mael.
Starr. Yeah, Mael or Verso.
I'm gonna say something controversial, man.
That Expedition 33 is overrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I think Expedition 33 is overrated. I enjoyed the game a lot, but there's the hype around it.
Here
It's
comes
just like
all the people to say that it's overrated now. Finally, at the end of the year. Of course.
Hey, come on.
Of course.
It's good, but it's like,
of course.
Really?
You're so special to say that this one thing that everybody liked isn't actually as good as you guys say it is. Now, I will say there are definitely people out there who are on their high horse and basically promoting the gospel of Expedition 33, saying that it's the best RPG ever made and the best game ever made. Those people are nuts and crazy, right?
I saw someone say like that hasn't been a JRPG since Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, so it's like there are definitely people out there pounding the pavement for this game, saying it's the greatest thing since sliced bread and since the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And it's like, you guys might be out of your element. I've seen people say that. I'm just like, you guys are. Look, I love the game. It's my game of the year. Obviously, anything highly rated, people will say is overrated, especially if you didn't like it and you're just like.
I liked it. But
well, yeah, but I'm sure there's plenty of people that thought it was just okay. They're like, really, just game of the year, game of the generation, and they just like, no, it's not. And then they just been like, I want it to lose, because then you just get really pissed off at its success, and you get pissed off at the fans that it has, right? So
I like that. I think it definitely deserves to be nominated.
I mean, no, I think you do. I think you bring up a good point about Troy Baker. Basically saying the game works because he made it work. So I would like Troy to win.
I suppose an argument against that could be like, yeah, well, Harrison Ford already gave him the template, whereas like Jennifer English had to bring Mael to life. You know,
right.
if I'm gonna argue against myself, which I do a lot actually in my own head, I think I'm like got some kind of personality disorder actually, but that could be an argument against him winning, maybe that he's just imitating. But dude, it's so good, you know. I think the whole game falls apart without him. But basically, the whole game's carried on his back.
Yeah. What about art direction? Because this is always a topic that people have differing opinions on. You got Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotai, Hades 2, and Hollow Knight.
So I saw some people saying South of Midnight was snubbed here as well.
I think it's more snubbed in the music category than the art direction, to be honest with you.
Fair enough. I haven't played it, so I don't know. But I mean, all those games have great art.
They do. They're all different, though, right? Like Expedition 33 has a different kind of art style than Death Stranding 2, which is very much like your typical AAA like art style, but with some crazy shit in it. With Ghost of Yotai is still kind of going off of the original art style of the first game with the bright colors and everything. And then Hades 2 is more of that hand drawn. Like when you think art direction, my mind goes to like Hades 2 because it's sort of that 2D style with all the different colors everywhere, like hand-drawn stuff where it stands out more than they're like 3D counterparts, because it's like, oh, that's art, to me, right? And then Silksong, I guess you could say the same thing about Silksong, about the way it looks. I just don't know. See, the thing is, I would say Expedition 33 because I'm trying to think of like what people would vote for. And they clearly nominated so many times, so there's a lot of groundswell of support for it. But I also wouldn't be surprised if like Hollow Knight or Hades 2 won here. I guess maybe it's possible any of these could potentially win. Best Narrative: Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotai, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Silent Hill F.
What? Sorry, what category?
Best Narrative.
Oh,
so
I did love Silent Hill F's narrative.
I mean, Silent Hill's
probably the best thing about the game.
Silent Hill F's narrative's really good. Although to get the full narrative experience, you have to replay it 3 times, or replay it twice, rather.
I do think this is one area where Expedition 33 is not underrated. I think like for me, like Expedition 33, like its gameplay and I suppose like animations and stuff like that were a little bit janky for me, but the narrative is absolutely fantastic, and it's one of the first games in years where the plot twist actually made me think, oh shit, I was not expecting that. So yeah, I think like Expedition 33 probably deserves that. That being said, Monster Hunter Stories, man, it's pretty gripping as well.
Yeah, of course you would say that. Yeah, you would think Expedition 33 would win this. I'm just surprised I guess maybe I'm not, because like I said, it came out too late, but I think Dispatch could just easily slide up in here. But then again, I haven't played Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 or Ghost of Yotai yet. I hear nothing but good things about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and here's the thing with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I want to play it. I want to play it, but the problem is I have to play the first one. And the first one's also the first one's also not short. It's a long game. But then I talk to people and like, oh, you don't have to play the first one. And
yeah, people say there's a really good recap in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Because I guess Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 starts immediately when the first one ends off. So when I hear that, I'm like, well, I need to play through the first game. And they're like, well, you don't have to. And I'm like, well, no. You see, I'm the type of person who I can't just step into a story halfway through. Like, I need to read and understand everything that preceded it. Characters' motivations, story elements, and everything. So I can't just start at Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and just being like, and think a recap would give me everything I need to know to understand all the characters and their motivations for the sequel. Because while I'll be playing that, I'll be thinking to myself, am I missing an important piece of context here? Or maybe I'm just overthinking it. I don't really know. But it is a game.
I agree.
It is a game I do want to play, and maybe I will at some point. But still,
do it, bro.
So I would say Silent Hill F, but I think Expedition 33 is probably going to win, and that's probably who I would pick. And then Game of the Year,
I would pick that too.
The 6 games you got: Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silksong, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So it's like my buddy Gopher thinks everybody's wrong and Donkey Kong's going to win. And he says he's going to troll me and make fun of me really bad if it does. Because I've been like, Expedition 33 is going to win. But you see, with Gopher is he stopped playing Expedition 33. He had it early through one of his contacts. And he stopped playing it before the end of Act 1. And he was telling me it's not a very good game. And then all the reviews came out, and it was like the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then I played it, and Maka played it, and we're like, this is Game of the Year. And then he went back to play it, and he was like, actually, the game's really good. I was wrong. And we're like, all right, kudos to you. And then he played Donkey Kong, who's like, actually, this is Game of the Year, and it's going to win. And I'm like, Donkey Kong's not winning Game of the Year. But there's a small part of me that's like, what if he's right? What if Nintendo pulls it off again? And Donkey Kong wins.
Well, they get the Nintendo tax rebate, remember?
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen because I think Expedition 33 is going to win here.
Why do none of the games I love get nominated ever?
What games? What games do you love that haven't gotten nominated? Like what? If you had to point something else
Uh,
out.
I can't think off the top of my head, but like all these games, I'm just kind of like,
Because
they're
the
all
only
right.
game you played this year, Monster Hunter Stories, is a 10-year-old game, so why would it be nominated? World of Warcraft is a 20-year-old game, so it's not going to be nominated. Are you surprised World of Warcraft's not nominated for best ongoing support?
Uh, no, actually, I mean, nothing
That's
particularly
the thing.
amazing
It's like
happened this
is
year.
anybody who plays in the media actually play World of Warcraft anymore? Probably not, right?
Probably not,
It's always
but
the same
like,
games that are nominated.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, World of Warcraft's not really done anything spectacularly special this year, but I'd be surprised if like the housing system launching next year doesn't earn it some kind of nomination because that shit is really good and well done. But it probably won't because nobody in the game media plays it, you know. But whatever. It is what it is, you know, as we say on the show.
It is
It
what it
is
is.
what it is.
We have Pat Rock Super Chat says Ravenlock was one of my favorite games of the gen, contrary to Jez's opinion where he said it was bad. And Face wants to know, Rand, do you miss the Uncharted series? Do I miss the Uncharted
Just on
series?
Ravenlock, just really quickly. To be fair to Ravenlock, maybe I didn't give it enough of a chance. I think I played it for like a couple of hours or something like that. So maybe I need to give it another chance, but I don't know.
Do I miss the Uncharted series? It's an interesting question.
Yeah, do you?
I don't necessarily think I miss the Uncharted series, but there's a part of me that sometimes misses the style of game it was that really doesn't get made anymore, which is maybe one of the reasons why I'm looking forward to 007 so much, because 007 sort of resembles Uncharted a lot to me. You know?
What about the new Tomb Raider? Because aren't they
Well, the
working on
new
a new
Tomb
Tomb
Raider, yeah,
Raider?
but we haven't seen anything from the new Tomb Raider. Like, I did really enjoy Tomb Raider and Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Um, I don't necessarily think I'm missing Uncharted because it got a send off. Like they made 4 games, well technically 5 games, I guess. But if you're just talking about the games with Nathan Drake, I mean he got an ending. I know you could always go and do another game and have it set with the new protagonist. I won't spoil it, but you know the character at the end of the game. But I feel like his story completely wrapped up. Like there's nothing more you could necessarily tell from him. And I think maybe it's that style of game where you're going on an adventure and it's like a cinematic action piece where you mix up these like the treasure hunting or the discoveries alongside these really elaborate and cinematic action set pieces. And so when I watch the trailers for 007, it really resembles Uncharted because while he may not be searching for treasure, he is definitely searching for answers or searching for someone. And it definitely does seem like it leans heavily into the heavily cinematic action set pieces, which the James Bond movies are known for, right? So maybe it's the style of game that sometimes I crave versus the actual series that it represents.
Yeah.
Because maybe those style games just started to become too expensive, and some of them didn't make money, so we don't really get that anymore. So that I don't know, but
They don't have the replay values.
yeah, everything went to you know live services and stuff like that, and it's like the single player 10-hour 12-hour experience that costs $200 million is kind of you just can't do anymore, so they stopped making those games. Yeah, it's a good question though, because it is something to think about in that regard. Did you play the Uncharted games, Jez?
I didn't. I've never played them. Never owned a PlayStation.
Never,
They're on.
never owned a PlayStation. I'm trying to think. Let's see what else we got here. What
Well,
else?
no, that's a lie. I did own a PS4 for a bit, but I sold it.
All right. So, anyways, I think it's time to answer those Patreon questions so we can get Jez out of here because he's not feeling well. Do us a big favor, hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. check out the sponsor for this podcast, Surfshark. It's like 86% off 2 years and an extra 3 months. All for a low price of like $2 a month. And patreon.com/XB2 where you can support us directly. We have the question and answer thread is up for anybody that wants to drop a line. And I am going to go to that right now. So let's start. Get some of these questions in so we can get Jez to bed. All right,
we're also running a Black Friday sale on Patreon right now, 20% off.
There you go. 20% off on Patreon. We got Chimera Chasm. It says, Rand and Jez, who do you hope wins Game of the Year out of the candidates we're aware of? I mean, Expedition 33. It's my Game of the Year, so I would love to see it nominated. Or I'd love to see it win. So, I haven't played all the games in there. Like, I haven't played Silksong or Hades 2. I haven't played Donkey Kong, and I haven't played Kingdom Come Deliverance. So the only ones I played are Death Stranding 2 and Expedition 33. So maybe my thinking would be skewed if I played all of them, but I doubt it. So I doubt any of those games would make me say would basically leapfrog Expedition 33. But that's who I want to win.
I think now it's weird for me because I did really like Expedition 33. And I also haven't played a lot of the games on the list. But I think, even though I haven't completed it, Silksong's left a bigger impression on me than completing Expedition 33.
In a negative way or a positive way?
No, in a positive way. Like, Silksong has been more mind-blowing to me than, resonated harder with me than Expedition did. So even though I really liked Expedition, I do think Silksong is just, I think it's another
You want to know
level.
something though?
What's that?
I kind of don't believe you because if it did, you would have finished it.
Nope.
See,
because
that's what I think. If you really cared enough about the game, you'd see it to its end.
Nah, and I'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've basically had a headache since August.
That doesn't stop you from putting in 40 hours of Monster Hunter Stories 1.
No, but that's exactly it. Monster Hunter Stories is turn-based and easy. I don't feel up to playing Silksong right now. Because Silksong is fucking hard, mate. So I basically once I started getting this headache all the time, I kind of bounced off the stress of Silksong until I feel more up to it. And I have been basically playing casual games since then. I played Ball Pit, which again, casual. Monsters Hunter Stories, which is turn-based and quite easy. I don't feel up to playing Silksong yet. So, again, but it's like you said, it's even that is kind of a subjective reason.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'd have, Solid Theater in chat says, headaches and challenging games don't mix. So, I disagree with you, Rand.
All right, fair enough.
If I was up to it, I would have gone all the way through it. But we'll see what happens. Silksong left a deeper impression on me. And I think it is a subjective thing. I mean, even though Expedition 33 is pretty depressing and bleak, Silksong is just hyper depressing and bleak. I just kind of like that about it.
Fair enough.
Very subjective.
Chris says, Rand, I'm addicted to Arc Raiders, but almost an opposite way you are. I'm solo running PvE player, and I've only killed one player in the game so far out of 70 hours played. But that's the beauty of Arc, though. It can be a place for both of us to enjoy polar opposite playstyles. I'm always tense that a rat might turn on me or gank me when I'm balls deep in a car engine bay, and I wouldn't change it one bit. See you topside, Randall Raider. Jez, you need to stop being a baby and come pick mushrooms with Rand and I. Just keep an eye out for rusted gear for me. That's true. And you can play it
I have seen
want.
I saw an Instagram guy who just posts clips of him being a Arc Raiders paramedic, and he's never killed anyone. He just goes around helping people out, which I thought was fun. Maybe I'll do that.
And it works only because it works as the PvE. If you just remove that, it falls apart. CW, Or see what he says. Hey fellas, do you think that Magnus will maintain the cool features like the dynamic backgrounds and quick resume, or will that all be kept kaput now that it's aligning with the Xbox app? I'm warming up to the idea of Magnus day and day, but I still have my concerns. Thanks for the show. Keep up the good work. Yeah, the quick resume thing.
So, oh man, I'm nervous about putting this out there because people are like, "Oh, Jez, you said this was happening," and it doesn't. But I like to be transparent with you guys about what I'm hearing. So take this with a pinch of salt. I've heard they are trying to get quick resume for the next Xbox as well, even through the bullshit that is Windows. But I've also heard that it's not an easy thing to do. Like, one of the things that's going on with the next Xbox right now is it requires a ton of work on the Windows side because Windows is a mess, right? And getting all that mess aligned with what they want to do with the Xbox is a significant undertaking. There's one reason why they haven't pushed Black Friday sales is because like Black Friday sales cost money, and they're using that money to fund all the work that's going into the next Xbox, which is it's not just really for the next Xbox. It's going to be for the Xbox after that, and the Xbox after that, and the OEM platform they're developing, where other companies can make Xbox consoles. It's a huge undertaking. It really is. So, in that universe where they're trying to like pull that off, that's why they're not really bothered with say Black Friday sales and things like that. So yeah, so I've heard that they are trying to deliver things like that for the next Xbox. Will they nail it? I'm not saying they will, but I have heard that that's on their radar as something they want to nail. But will they do it? I suppose watch this space, right?
I suppose. So I guess there's a chance see Woody as a background stuff, dynamic backgrounds. I mean, I don't see why they shouldn't happen, but I guess we'll see. Silas says, "Hiya, rar. So I'm not trying to call you out, Rand. I think you probably are. But it seems like you are guilty of co-host abuse. Excuse me? You mean the guy?
Oh,
you mean my co-host? You mean the person that says I'm a furry, and then was spreading it in a podcast I wasn't even aware of? Now a whole bunch. What kind of co-host abuse? I think that's slander. What Jez did. Your continued mockery of Jez Corden's gaming habits need to stop. Yes, he never finishes games, but from a different lens, you could see that he's open to a variety of games, a variety of genres, and willing to try anything.
Yeah.
While many, not mentioning names, base their gaming diet on the most played gaming charts. Oh, you mean like Jez when Silksong was out and it was the trending game and he was playing it, but not me? Mm-hmm. Who's really the trending gamer? Jez is an out-of-the-box gamer who's willing to even engage in games that hardly anyone plays anymore, like World of Warcraft and Overwatch. So true, because I said that to him earlier. So maybe instead of putting him down, Jez should be celebrated as an all-around gaming master.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I
mean, I look at my gaming history for this week, right? Because I've played a lot of games this week. I bought a lot of games. The Black Friday sale has been... I've spent like $200 on games this week. I've been playing Monster Rise. I've been playing Monster Hunter Stories. I played Clover Pit. I played Silent Hill 2. I played Vampire Survivors. I played Fortnite a little bit. I played Final Fantasy 16 a little bit. I played Crash Bandicoot and the Insane Trilogy a little bit. I played Gears of War Reloaded as well. Satisfactory. And I've also been playing a game called Dream Core, which is really weird, by the way. I played a good couple of hours in Winterborough. I've been playing Dusk, Dragon Quest 1 and 2. How many hours have I got in that? I played a ton of Dragon Quest 1 and 2. So Dragon Quest 1 and 2, I've got 11 hours in that. So I've been playing all kinds of shit. I've been playing Cyberpunk as well. Tried a game called Beneath, which I didn't really like. Also Abathur, which was really good. And Dying Like the Beast. I've got gaming ADHD, bro. I just can't stick to one thing, bro.
You do. I don't know. Should I be nicer to Jez? I don't know.
I think you should be. I think you should be nicer to me.
OMG Turtles says, "Hey, lovely people. I want to know your Mount Rushmores of gaming, but I don't just want any Mount Rushmore. I want to do this the proper way, the educated way. Did you know
Oh,
Mount Rushmore was founded on 4 principles, with each president representing one of those principles: the foundation, expansion, development, and preservation of the United States. So for each of these
uh,
principles, I want to know your Mount Rushmore game franchises. Which 4 gaming franchises would you put up there following those principles? I know, totally original. You've never done this before. Kind of surprised I'm the first person to ask, Turtles. All right, Jess.
foundation. So foundation
Foundation,
first.
expansion, development, and preservation, I guess, are the 4, founding
So
principles of Mount Rushmore.
okay, so foundationary game. I'm gonna give that to. That's got to be like an OG kind of game, right? Like a classic
Yeah.
game that's
I mean,
not
George
really
Washington,
changed
I think,
things up.
is the foundation, right? Because he's on there and he's the first one.
Yeah.
So,
The first traitor. Yeah.
yeah.
Um.
So, for my
So,
foundation for
that's
me, I'll probably, if we're just, so this isn't like picking your 4 favorite franchises. This is like trying to go on foundation, expansion, development, preservation. I think for me, it would have to be Mario, right? Super Mario Brothers as the foundation of gaming,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, for you,
Well, and yeah, that's for me. I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
pick something else.
What would you pick?
I'm gonna go with Pac-Man.
Okay,
For
I
that
mean
one.
that's a good pick. Pac-Man's a good pick for foundation. Expansion.
I'm gonna pick Final Fantasy 6 for that one.
I'm gonna
Oh,
pick.
actually, no. Maybe 7. I think 7 made probably a bigger impact.
I'm gonna pick Halo 2 for that one. Meaning like expansion to the online multiplayer, the Xbox Live network. You know.
That's fair.
So foundation, Mario, expansion, Halo 2, development.
I'm picking Final Fantasy 7 for like making the story deliveries of games feel more impactful, and also digital music, man. I mean, the Final Fantasy soundtrack made such a huge difference, and the PlayStation 1 with its digital audio and shit. I think that made a big deal.
What do you got? What do you got for development?
No development. See, now that's where I put something like online game. I'm putting World of Warcraft for development.
Okay.
Because World of Warcraft really did underpin the modern service game, which we all know is the best genre of games. So, yeah, World of Warcraft, bro. What are you gonna pick for development?
Me, for development, I kind of was thinking of a couple different things. I'll go with. For whatever reason, the one that comes to my head, I'll go with Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the first one.
Oh yeah, it's probably a good one. Yeah.
You know, like just how basically every game, every sort of shooter, every multiplayer game copied
Every game owes COD
everything
something.
to that. So I would go to COD, Modern Warfare, and then preservation.
Preservation.
Hmm.
Who's the president that represents preservation?
I think Theodore Roosevelt, maybe Teddy. I'd have to.
Oh, was that from World War II? Was that him? I don't know. Preservation. That's a good question. I'm gonna put The Witcher for this one, and you know why?
Okay.
Because I remember when The Witcher came out, there was this big fear that everything was going to become a service game, and then The Witcher came out, and it was like, oh shit, they've like raised the bar for single player games. So I'm gonna pick The Witcher 3 for that one.
Preservation. This is a tougher one, I think. I'd go with. I don't even know a game that would even fit that description. Preservation.
Keeping gaming alive. The spirit of gaming. That's why I picked The Witcher.
You almost would have to pick Fortnite right now, but
Blech.
there's no way Fortnite's being on my Mount Rushmore.
Roblox.
No way I'm putting Roblox on there.
Why not? You and your nephews play together. Minecraft.
Okay, yeah, you know what?
Hey,
Minecraft.
Minecraft.
Minecraft. There you go.
Minecraft should be on
Minecraft
there
for
somewhere.
preservation. There you go.
You even like Minecraft?
Not really. I mean, I played it. It was fun for a time, but not really. But you know, sometimes you got to pick something that's like. This isn't a Mount Rushmore of your favorite things. This is a different exercise. So I think that's a good one. Preservation Minecraft.
Fair enough.
Pat Rock says, "Have you noticed Xbox on PC getting more support from games, even more than Epic Games Store? Through the various showcases over summer and now, I've seen more Xbox PC logos than Epic. Seems like they might be getting some traction on that front. They should just rename the Windows Store to the Xbox Store. They already copied Sony with the Xbox Network, the Essential and Premium tiers. Now just copy PlayStation Store and finally make sense to gamers."
Well, I mean, the Microsoft Store is different to the Xbox Store. So, like, if you go on the Microsoft Store, there's a load of casual games in there which don't even show up in the Xbox app. You do get things like Solitaire in the Xbox app, but there's like gambling games and slot machine games and like stuff I guess boomers might play, maybe. I don't know. In the Microsoft Store. So, and I think also you have to keep it the Microsoft Store for the enterprise aspect of it. So, in essence, the Xbox Store on the Xbox app is already called the Xbox Store anyway. So I think we're already halfway there with that. Yeah, like Xbox PC has been getting a lot more support recently. I mean, it's really the one really big one there is Fortnite. Like Fortnite is on the Xbox Store, the first PC store that it's on, other than Epic Games Store. So like everyone who had the Epic Games Store installed just for Fortnite, they can uninstall that shit now. That's like a big deal, I think. The Xbox Store on PC is the only place where you can play like Call of Duty, Roblox, and Fortnite and Minecraft all on one store. None of those games, well, Call of Duty's on Steam, but the rest of them aren't on Steam. So that's got to bring in some attention for one thing. But yeah, I suppose one of the issues is like organic support. And one of the problems I think Xbox has is that they've got this really sort of historically, they've got a very strict publishing regime, a really strict publishing criteria where like that developers have to jump through a lot of hoops to get their games approved on Microsoft Store. And it's because of things like they don't allow Guna games. They don't allow like Steam just basically lets, well, not everything in, but Steam takes a much more hands-off approach to it and lets the community filter out the wheat from the chaff, so to speak. Whereas like Xbox doesn't really have community tools in the PC app now, which is, by the way, another separate issue, which, you know, if we talk about that, we'll be here all night. But yeah, it definitely seems like it's getting more support. I don't know if it's necessarily organic, because it does seem like oftentimes when a game comes to PC, it's either like it's either Play Anywhere, it's either on Game Pass, or it's had some kind of marketing deal. Like it's been at like one of the showcase and shit like that. But like look at Silent Hill 2. They didn't have to make Silent Hill 2 Play Anywhere. They didn't have to make Play Anywhere at all. Like Silent Hill 2 was a year delayed on Xbox. It wasn't at any Xbox show. And it also didn't have any co-marketing. They didn't have to do that at all. So I think Silent Hill 2 is a pretty good example of a game that really probably was organic an organic AAA release on Xbox PC. I think that's really awesome. So we just need to see more of that, really. And I think as publishers start to realize that this is the way Xbox is going, and that to get a presence on Xbox PC now ahead of it becoming the default, I think we'll probably see more of this shit. I mean, it's just annoying that it's so fragmented right now. Like all the EA Play games that are on PC, none of them are Play Anywhere, none of them have achievements. All the Ubisoft Classic games, none of them are Play Anywhere, none of them have achievements. It's so like half-assed from Ubisoft and EA, super half-assed. Or very few of them are Play Anywhere. And Capcom as well. Capcom's like, oh yeah, you can have Kunitsugami and Exo Primal Play Anywhere, and Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. No sign of Resident Evil 4 Play Anywhere. Oh, then we got Resident Evil 7 Play Anywhere, but not Resident Evil 8. Like it's so inconsistent the way some publishers are doing it. But yeah, I think there's good signs.
All right. Rave Damo says, Hola, Rand and Jez. If Valve's Steam machine can run Xbox games, then I think we'd all agree it qualifies as an Xbox, quote unquote.
Damn right.
By that same logic, Xbox Magnus running Steam games could just as easily be considered a Steam machine, quote unquote. As someone with a large Xbox library and a Series X, Magnus lines up much better with what I actually want. It will give me access to both my Xbox catalog and Steam, whereas Valve's Steam machine only gives me Steam games unless I install Windows. And that's before considering the expected RDNA 5 performance bump Magnus will have. I guess this is more a comment than a question, but as long as Magnus launches at $1,000 or less, I'm struggling to see the value in Valve's Steam machine when I could just wait 15 months and buy Xbox's Steam Machine Pro, Magnus, with all the same benefits plus more. Thanks, gentlemen, and have a lovely weekend.
Yeah, I think like there was a ton of hype and excitement for the Steam machine out of the gate because Steam is so beloved and Gabe is a meme, and they've got like I think Steam has more goodwill than any of the platforms, even Nintendo. Like it feels like nobody has anything bad to say about Steam. I thought it was kind of funny that like, you know, we joked on this show about Amy Hood needing a new yacht, and that's why she put the prices up. Gabe Newell literally purchased $500 million. But then
I heard you spread misinformation on that because I looked into it, and apparently he bought that yacht for scientists, not himself.
Well, I didn't spread anything.
You talked about it on the show, and you said this is Gabe's yacht, but apparently he bought the yacht for scientists or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm spreading misinformation.
Gabe owns a yacht company, and he does have yachts. So sure. That's like that is a thing that happened.
Well, I guess the thing here that I wanted to point out to Rave, Mr. Damos, it says as long as it launches at $1,000 or less. Now, Mr. Damos, what if it comes in at say I don't know $1,400? Are you then being like, well, is that okay? Because you know, we have the Series X at $700 or $650. People are talking about the Steam machine like it's going to be $700 at launch. And Sarah Bond is already talking about how high-end and premium this next Xbox Magnus console is going to be. So the sticker shock on that console might, like, people's eyes might fall out of their head, right? And we don't think Xbox is going to subsidize it because they probably know how many they expect to sell, and it's probably not going to be that many. So you might be looking at a thing that's $1,500, and then at that point, does that fit? Because I get what you're saying in your whole thing here about, well, I prefer Xbox's strategy because I can have all my Xbox games, and I have Game Pass, and then I could just easily install Steam games there. It works better for me versus the Steam machine, and that's all great. But you put the caveat of as long as it launches at $1,000 or less. But there's no guarantee it'll launch at $1,000 or less. It might be way more than that. And at that point, what's the, do you look at it, if it was $1,500 and it's like, is that too expensive for you? Does then the Steam machine a better value in that regard? I guess we just have to wait and see to what the pricing is on both of these things before you really, you make a decision or a choice, right? Right, Jez?
Yeah, I mean, price is going to be a factor no matter what. I mean, my point about Steam machine was like, I think a lot of people when the haze of joy and adulation wore off, they looked into it a little bit more as like, oh, actually, I don't know if this is going to be right for me. Especially now there's rumors that it's going to be more expensive than people expected. It'll be the same thing with the next gen Xbox too. I mean, I'm going to get one regardless, but I'm also someone who works in the space, and I'll probably just get one either from work or from Microsoft directly. I would get one myself because also I love my Xbox library and I don't want to lose access to that. And also I've got an Xbox Ally X, and I kind of got a glimpse into where the ecosystem's going. And it's like, yeah, mostly use Xbox then with a side dish of Steam when I fancy it. Like, I've been playing Half-Life. That's another game I've been playing this week. I've been playing Black Mesa, the Half-Life fan remake, which is awesome, by the way. I've been playing that as well. So, and also I'm sure like if Death Stranding 2 never comes to Xbox, I'll probably get it on Steam. Obviously, Ghost of Yotai or Ghost of Tsushima's never coming to Xbox, so again, something I could buy on Steam. And if PlayStation released a PC store, I'd buy it direct from PlayStation instead of Steam. So I want that universe. You know, if that's the universe Microsoft's taking my library, then I'm gonna go where my library is. I'm not gonna be salty about that. But at the same time, it's like if it's $500, $1,500, sorry, maybe it's something that I wait a bit to purchase, or maybe not just get it outright. I don't know. And then also, then I have to think about, I've already got a laptop. Do I even need it?
I don't know.
You know,
We have
you gotta wait and see.
We have Google's Lens, who says it is Google's, not goggles, Rand. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. Right, I said that right, Jez? Goggles, Google's, not goggles, not Google's. It's goggles, not Google's. Okay, so yeah. Goggles Lens. I remember Rand talking about this PC console from Xbox would be Xbox's last console, which makes sense, but also does not matter too much in the long run. PCs are the ultimate backwards compatibility machines. I can go on Steam and play Half-Life, that released in 1998. So if our libraries are on PC, we'll not have to worry about losing them and not having hardware, because PC are always that hardware. Hopefully people can put in a chip and have their library on their own PC. So you would not need new hardware if a PC could act like a console, kind of. The only way PCs get outdated is if your PC is not strong enough to run the games. What were you saying, Jez?
I was gonna say, like, sorry, finish off what his question was, and I'll come in.
Also, what would the next consoles have with the diminishing returns that they are getting slightly better visuals? With where we are now, we have reached a point where new technologies need inventing if we were to get better, or just have the games run better. We are getting diminishing returns. I think the rivalry between Steam and Xbox is more of a friendly competition, what makes it better for consumers. With the Steam machine releasing first, then I think it would help Xbox improve their user interface. I think the UI is a big thing for the next generation for Xbox. They need to get that right to have the experience be more console-like. Even with Valve not really helping Xbox directly at all, they're so pro-consumer that for someone using mostly Xbox and a little bit of Steam would still work out. I would probably use the next Xbox PC console thing by installing the other launches with the PC library, being able to play all the games from Xbox launcher UI without having to go to the other launchers, just needing to go to them to install the games first. Also, what is the current Xbox OS using right now anyways? You think back when they first make it that it would have used Windows somewhat to help make it, or back then did they just make it from scratch? I've not really seen that many console launches before, so Valve announces this hardware a year out. It is November, so close to the end of the year, normal. If this hybrid console from Xbox releases in 2027, should we be expecting an announcement in 2026? Also, I just finished watching the Double Fine's documentary. As Xbox Twitter called it, quote, always down for a Double Fine-umentary. Is this normal for other studios to have a documentary after each game, or is it more of a Double Fine thing? I think it's more of a well, no, I mean, it depends on the studios. Like, I know some studios have documentaries, so I'm not necessarily saying it's a Double Fine thing. I know there have been other studios that document the process, so I don't necessarily think it's specific to them. I did watch the 22-hour documentary on Psychonauts, but I know not many people have the time for that. But Keeper's documentary is under half an hour. In it, they talked about having Microsoft here, which makes them able to make a game that would be unpitchable otherwise. Should we expect more things from Double Fine that would not be able to be pitched when they were independent? I think so. I think that's a good thing to think. It is strange to think about games that would even be even more weird than what they have been made in the past when they were independent. I think Microsoft is good for them. Can't wait to see more from them. Anyways, so what do you want to say, Jez?
Like, about, like, Xbox's next console being their last. I don't believe it's going to be their last console. And the reason I don't believe it's going to be that last console is because they're moving to an OEM model where you expect to have low volumes. You expect to sell like single-digit millions, not, well, even if that, you know. And because like they've took the pressure off themselves by including PlayStation's install base in their business model, they don't have to. They're not under pressure to sell 50 million units of the next Xbox or the Xbox after that. So I will like guarantee that the next Xbox won't be the last Xbox unless like there's like, you know, AI destroys the universe or something like that. I think the current model raises the prospect of getting more Xboxes or maybe even more frequent Xboxes. They've got a huge engineering lab at Xbox. They're not just going to shut all that shit down after the next gen. Nobody working at Xbox right now is under the impression that this is the last thing they're working on. It's like, okay, guys, wrap it up. This is the last thing we're doing. You know, nobody's working at Xbox to that mindset right now. Certainly not Phil and Sarah on. They're just gonna move it towards more of a model like Surfaces. We still get Surface devices, even though Surface devices are low volume. They don't really have marketing anymore, and they use them as a test bed for, you know, new shit they're doing, and then point OEMs to. So it's like, hey OEMs, here's Windows on ARM. Here's how it looks on one of our devices. Would you like to make a Windows on ARM device, for example? You know, that's the role next Xbox will be. I think you'll see $2,000 Xboxes, and I think you'll see cheaper Xboxes that use the chip that give you access to your library. But I don't know. I would not labor under the idea that the next Xbox is going to be the last. But you know, what was the other part of the question?
When do we expect the next Xbox to be announced? He said next year, and I mean, I think it's probably going to be announced at the showcase if I had to guess.
Yeah, I would think maybe the showcase, it gets announced and then maybe revealed in full somewhere else.
Yeah,
Hard to say.
that would be my line of thinking. Lee Sanders says, quick one for Rand. See Banishers coming to Game Pass? Is it worth checking out? Absolutely. I think Banishers is a hidden gem. I remember played it last year. Really, really liked it. It's in Game Pass now, so if we're on the fence about that game, yeah, definitely download it. Check it out. It's a pretty cool game. On another note, do you find it odd that Play Anywhere and the Game Pass icons are getting put in the corners of the end cards? They used to go big with those two statements, and now it's just a small indication at the bottom. Tagged you in an image on the Twitter for reference. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, I see it. Bottom left-hand corner, it's just a little white Xbox Play Anywhere, Xbox Game Pass stuff. Yeah.
And where's that? Where do you see that?
It was in the... Here, I'll DM it to you. Well, there's only so much space you can take up.
Well,
in an image.
I think one of the reasons is that they had to find more space for the Ubisoft Classics thing because I noticed Ubisoft Classics has its.
I just sent you a picture of it.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's one of those things where they have to do it because there's just
space.
It's a space issue because you have Xbox Series X and S, Xbox on PC, Xbox Cloud, but then you're also including Steam, Epic, and PS5 in your logos. So there's just no space. So they have Game Pass and Play Anywhere logos in the left-hand corner.
But I think I think that doesn't mean anything. Like there's no indication on that. But I do think there is a future where they don't have to bother announcing things like Play Anywhere or well, Game Pass maybe, but Play Anywhere and Cloud. I think in the future that'll just be expected. You know, it's not like Steam announces that their games are Play Anywhere. They're all just Play Anywhere. Wherever you've got Steam, you've got access to the game. And I think that's the future for the Xbox platform. Wherever you've got the Xbox app, you'll have access to your games. I think that's the plan here. So I wouldn't worry about that stuff.
All right. We got Panda Man. So hey guys, this question is for the millionaire. Do we finally get a franchise quarterback? I've really enjoyed this Bear season with this quarterback and coach. How many heart attacks have you had this season? Have a great weekend and bear down. I mean, it's been a great season to watch. Caleb Williams and the Bears, they're 7-3. The Bengals game, the Giants game, the Vikings game. Because of the Vikings game, I was like, oh my God, it's going to end just like the first game. But it's possible. I mean, the coach, Ben Johnson, is clearly the right choice. I mean, Yeah, I
I
think
agree.
we're finally there. I don't know. I don't expect to win much this year, although I expect to get to the playoffs. It's more about like next year and beyond. But
Yeah, you're right.
it's been good. It's been good.
Agree.
We have Chris M. Hello, guys. Given the solid lineup of games shown at the partner showcase this week, including the shadow drops of Total Chaos and Clover Pit, would it have been more beneficial for Xbox to have announced the Game Pass price increase closer to this kind of event? The number of games going into the service was impressive, and a pair of shadow drops feel like things that would have helped to blunt some of the backlash against the price increase, or would it not have made any difference? Either way, as a fan of roguelites, Game Pass is killing it right now. They seem to love the genre, and Armistice looked fantastic. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend.
Thanks so much, dude.
It's a good question because I get what you're trying to say. If you're increasing the price of something, then also announce something that people would see and be like, "Oh, I understand why you're doing this." Give people like something really good to go along with the bad medicine, so to speak. But I don't think anything they really could have done would have stemmed the tide of announcing the price increase of 50%. I think they were screwed no matter what. And, rightfully so, because for a lot of people, it's like, I don't care about the Fortnite thing. I don't care about the Ubisoft Classic thing. It's just like, now it's just costing me more money. I think the reason they did it when they did was, I'm trying to think, July, August, September. One, it's the beginning of a fiscal quarter, right? October. It happened in October, so it's the beginning of a new fiscal quarter. And two, all their games are just about to come out. Outer Worlds 2, Keeper, Ninja Gaiden, Call of Duty. So I think they wanted to get those, the price increase in for people that wanted to play those games. I guess you could make the argument I sort of made earlier today about the partner preview, saying that maybe that event was supposed to be sometime in early October, because why else wouldn't Silent Hill 2 be there? So they had it all fleshed out, and Silent Hill 2 wasn't going to be there because it was contractually wasn't able to, and then it got delayed, But I don't think anything would. I don't think nothing would have stopped people from being upset about a price increase of that magnitude.
No, I agree. But I think I do think that we have seen that it's a pretty I had that theory, didn't I? That they've got data that they need more games, and this is a way to get to more games. Is the price increase, right? And it does look like 2026 is already really, really stacked for Game Pass. Not just from first party, but also third party. They must have had data from that quarter where everything was popping off with Expedition and all that stuff, and was like, man, this was like, in fact, there was some sales data that even console sales went up in July, I think. Like the first time they went up by that. It was like something really modest, like 2% or something like that. But it was like the sales went up, and they must have looked at Game Pass is driven. The amount of games we had in Game Pass reduced the churn, and with Oblivion, Blueprints, and all this kind of stuff. And it was like, what do we need to do to get to that cadence? And we need this much money, and that means this much price increase, right? So I do think we are seeing maybe a boost in value in Game Pass there. And obviously, don't forget, a lot of the people running the Game Pass operation are former Netflix people. So you would think they maybe know something about that stuff. But again, this could all just be copium, and maybe Amy just was jealous of Gabe's yacht and was just like, you know what, I need a yacht too. Put the price up. Put the price up, baby. My Spotify went up, bro. I'm not happy about that.
I mean, are you surprised?
No.
Yeah, we got good old Collinwood. It says, good weekend, Rand and Jez. Is it possible to shop ethically this Black Friday? With the shopping holiday and Cyber Monday coming up next weekend, there are many who will be conflicted in putting more money in the Jeff Bezos pockets, especially if you have Prime membership. Sure, people will tell you to shop locally and give alternative shop fronts your business, but that is extremely hard when you're dealing with gaming and electronics. Thoughts? I mean, I think Jeff it's hard Bezos to shop ethically, period, right?
I think I mean, if we're gonna get really deeply philosophical about shit, it's hard to exist ethically in today's times. I mean, I saw like some people arguing about some of this stuff, like, oh, you shouldn't use this company for whatever reason and stuff like that. And the reason they were listing was like something Apple's guilty of, and obviously they're rocking an iPhone, right? I mean, if you start getting obsessed about what's ethical, you end up in a sort of a no-win situation. I suppose like what you can do is just do the most you can do. If you are concerned about that kind of thing, um, donate to charity, help people out, be kind to others. At the end of the day, like it's through no fault of our own that all these assholes own everything. In order for us to have like a normal kind of any sort of semblance of quality of life, um, unfortunately, that's the system we live in, where those guys own everything. So I don't know. Your
Sure.
mileage may vary on that, but I've given up caring about that kind of thing. I'm too old.
He also asks, Rand, would you recommend watching the new Project Hail Mary trailer if you have not read the book? So they put out a second trailer for it. The first trailer did spoil something at the very end, which spoils a big moment in the book. And the very beginning of this new trailer spoils it even more. They spoiled that point even more. And I guess it depends, because clearly they're taking that moment and they're including it in their marketing strategy for the movie, whereas as the book it was a big surprise. So
could it be they're going to subvert expectations and it's not?
No,
it's a different story.
No, it's not. I can tell from watching the trailer it's the same. I mean, the writer of the book is like executive producer on the film or whatever, so it's like it's not gonna deviate too much. In fact,
Is it Brandon Sanderson?
No, it's Andy Weir, writer of The Martian. I can already tell it's probably gonna have the same ending the book had, because they're already seen some scenes in the trailer that sets up like, okay, well, it's gonna run as close to the book as it possibly can. There's gonna be things they're gonna have to change for a visual medium, but it's gonna run as close as it can. I don't know, like if you want to stay pure, like if you want to stay pure, I guess do so. But it really does seem like the closer we're gonna get to the launch of that movie, like the TV like spots and stuff are going to spoil a part of the book, which I think they're using as a marketing beat because they think that's a selling point to the movie now. So yeah, I mean, I guess you could just watch the trailer and see what you think, because I think the second trailer is fantastic. I like it more than the first trailer. So,
what's it about?
Basically,
the most basic version.
The sun is dying, and we have discovered that there's a sun in another solar system that isn't infected with this virus. And so
virus?
It's like I'm trying to dumb it down, but basically all the stars nearby are all infected with this virus and all the suns are dying except this one sun and this one solar system. So our sun's dying and we are putting together a crew to basically fly to that one sun and figure out why that one sun is not affected.
Set in the future?
No, it's set during now.
Oh, how the fuck? Okay.
Well, the suns are dying, but the suns take a long time to die. Essentially.
Oh, right. Okay.
But that's the setup. Sun's dying, and we send people out to this one star to figure out why that one star is not infected like the other stars.
Okay. Interesting.
Omen, who says, Happy Friday. So the Steam Machine controller has had me thinking a bit. Something interesting about the Steam controller is that they recognize that while using SteamOS, a lot of games or even UI will need a mouse cursor here and there. That's why they added the trackpad. Same is also true for using the Xbox Full Experience on TV today. Sometimes you need to hit accept prompts when setting up the Xbox syncing on PC games. So my question is this: does Microsoft have any sort of plan to address the scenarios where you need a mouse pointer for the eventual Xbox PC consoles? Will they have a controller with a trackpad? Maybe they'll have a trackpad add-on to the controller like the keyboard add-on. Personally, I'm wondering if I should buy a Steam controller for my eventual Xbox PC console. What do you think, Jez?
That is a good question. I mean, I would wait until you see what the next Xbox controllers do, because Microsoft's working on like a range of Xbox controllers now. There's Project Sabile, which was leaked in the FTC documents. We've yet to see materialize, which I've heard is still a thing. There's also like the next Elite controller, which again I've heard is a thing, and I've even got some vague hints that that could be announced, sooner rather than later. Maybe not this side of Christmas, but not too far away. Maybe I've got no information that it could be at the Game Awards, but I would not. But put it this way, I would not be surprised if it was at the Game Awards, based on the vagueness of the recency of the rumors. I'm kind of feeling like, oh, well, if I'm hearing about this now, maybe it's getting closer to being announced. I don't know. But I think like there's a lot of ways to do this. Like you could have like trackpads on the back of the controller. You could use a joystick as a pointer. There's kind of like a few ways you could do that. You could have like a touchpad or something like that. Obviously Microsoft owns the Windows Precision touchpad drivers, which are way better than your typical crappy trackpads that you buy. And more like the Surface trackpads, which are super accurate. So, I don't know. I suppose, I'll wait and see, man.
Mm-hmm. Let me see here. If there's any more. I don't think. Okay. So we're good there. All right. I think we've come to the end of the show. We got through everything we wanted to talk about. I know you're not feeling very well, but hey, instead of moving the show to Monday, we got it done today, though. Good, Jez. So you got to feel good about that, right?
Yeah.
So we'll be back probably Friday next week. I don't know. We'll see how Jez feels.
I should hopefully be better by then. I'm picking up my antibiotics tomorrow.
Yeah. So hopefully everybody has a wonderful weekend. Go Bears. Hopefully they win on Sunday, even though our entire linebacker core is out and we have a bunch of practice players playing. It's gonna be a rough game. So have a good weekend. If you're arc raiding, if you see me, don't kill me. In fact, drop me some stuff. Be a good sport. But I'll be playing Arc Raiders this weekend a lot. And reading my book. I'm reading the book right now, and I'll tell everybody about it next week. So until then, hope everybody has a great weekend. And check out our sponsor, Surfshark, 86% off 2 years. And our Patreon, patreon.com/XB2. And we will see you next Friday, hopefully. Later, everyone.
Rock and roll, baby.